boys and girls. This fucking team!
Oh, my God.
Oh, it's only one game. It's
Oh,
only
my
one
God.
game. What are we going to do with ourselves? I almost had 5 heart attacks.
I feel like I just went through an experience, John. That was a thing,
A
wasn't
religious
it?
experience? A
I don't
sexual
know, like
experience? An
all of the
awakening
above.
some
I
kind?
saw
mean,
Jesus. I had all of the things happened. Oh my gosh, what a game! So many things to talk about.
There are so many things to talk about. First of all, I want to give a quick shout out to my entire building that was here to bring their good karma. Some of them are still here with their kids who were running around, probably destroying everything. I wouldn't know, right? For this game 1 watch party. So shout out to all of them. I'm going to try to take a step back because that was such an exciting finish. And there were so many big time plays. And if I want to choose my words carefully because there have been 76 years of Knicks basketball. And for as much as this team has been a shit show for a long time, a lot of those years have ended in playoffs. Long playoff runs. But this was as big a playoff debut for a Knick player, and I'm talking about Josh Hart, as we have seen in our lifetime. You want to talk about a guy who, ever since he showed himself to be a championship player in college, and showed himself really from almost day one as an NBA player to be a winning player at this level with all of the teams that he has been on, but just never got the opportunity because he's never been in the right situation through no fault of his own. Talk about a guy waiting for the moment and then making the best of it. I mean, we're going to talk about Julius Randle. We're going to talk about Jalen Brunson. We're going to talk about the Knicks defense, although, I mean, so much of that was Josh Hart. But I can't remember the last time I've had a feeling about a player in a game as I do about Josh Hart right now. Unbelievable.
So,
speechless.
I'm so glad you started there with Hart because you could have gone to Brunson's heroics down the stretch. You could have pointed to, you said the defense. It's more the offensive rebounding and just the rebounding in general that could be more of a focus. And I think when we take a step back and watch the film tomorrow and they'll look at the numbers a little deeper, we'll see that's the advantage they had.
We're going to get to why they won this game
with Josh Hart because like when you go down the list of everybody that either stepped up or had a bad game today, people had their moments. Like Julius, the shot making in the first half was much needed. Especially while Brunson was a non-factor in the first half, his fault or not with the 3 fouls. Brunson, his shooting in the second half was much needed. Mitch had a horrible first half, great second half. Hartenstein picked his spots, right? Josh Hart had the most complete game. And it's why, like, I was sitting there in the fourth quarter wondering, has he been our best player today? I don't think you could say that. He was our most complete player today, which is why I think, do you want to go as far as best?
Andrew,
listen, I'll give you the nod now. I think I found your 3-star player, and it's very easily.
So we're and talk about a guy who's going to get his flowers tonight, and I've bit my tongue all year. But Tom Thibodeau, be a star in your role. There is no such thing as being more of a star in your role than Josh Hart was tonight. Now, different roles have different requirements, and what Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle were asked to do tonight was something altogether different. And, like, I know Randle, and look, we're going to talk about Randle. He ended up finishing with more shots taken than points scored. I'm giving him all the and this may seem overly forgiving of me. I'm giving him all the passes in the world. What he came out there and did in the first half when they needed someone who was a settler. And I'm not talking about settling for like bad shots. I'm talking about settling things down with Brunson in foul trouble. Yep. He was there, and then Brunson was there to make shots when they needed it in the second half. But in a series that is going to be won in the crevices with the dirty work and with the things that probably are not going to show up in the box score. How can you have a better game than Josh Hart just had? And I don't think it's possible. And because of his, I mean, like, and oh, by the way, we're sitting here talking about freaking shot making. That three,
biggest shot of the night. Yeah.
I mean, they were, and again, like, think about, and I'm going to say one more thing about Hart, and I'll throw it back to you, and then we'll kind of go big picture for a minute, and then we'll zoom back in again. This is, like, I know it's game one, but the way this game went and the way it was going the whole way through, it felt important. It felt a little bit more important than a usual game one because the Knicks went on the road. They got their guy back. And as the game went on and on and on and on, we got to about the 7-minute mark, 6-minute mark maybe, and I was like, I think this is a must-win game. Maybe a little bit further than that. But at some point, I was like, yeah, this is a must-win game when they had about a 10 or an 8-point lead, whatever it was. And for Cleveland to come back and take the lead in that game mentally for a Knicks team that has not been to this place together, you know, to say nothing of the fact that many of their individual players have not been to this place at all, one of which is Josh Hart. For them to go down and for Hart to take that for Hart to take that shot, let alone make that shot. I don't want to go too crazy and say it's like one of the biggest, you know, shots in Knicks history or anything like that. But, like, man, you want to talk about the last 20 years, it's a short list, and that's on it.
But we remember moments like that shift series, you know. As Knicks fans, like, we obviously have to go back to the 90s for this, but we remember the different plays, like the spree game against Toronto in game 2 in 2000. I know that season didn't go a certain way that we wanted, but, like, there are individual moments depending on how the series plays out. To your point about the must-win part of this, because I was feeling a version of that in the fourth quarter, but there was also a feeling of, like, they got nothing out of Quickly today. They got half a game from Brunson.
Yeah.
They got I have no idea what to make of RJ's game. There was a lot of bad, some okay. Like, there was so much mixed in that the Knicks didn't play a great game, but they got contributions when they needed it and such a complete game from Josh Hart that I actually wondered, like, did we underestimate? I think this is where we could underestimate how much of a rebounding edge the Knicks have. Because look at that last minute of the game. You get a big Hartenstein offensive rebound, which leads to the Jalen Brunson 2 to put him up 4. And then the last possession of the game, a Randle offensive rebound to get the pass to Quentin Grimes. Like, that was the story. The rebounding edge officially tilted the Knicks' way, and the Cavs just had no answer for it.
Yeah, this game was so much in the muck that I don't want to make too big of a deal over the fact that we have this edge and thus we will win this series. Because there will be games in this series that are not played in the muck. Probably pretty soon. Let's move that aside for a second. I do want to go big picture before we zoom back in.
Right.
So if you're like me, and I understand many of our viewers may not be like me, and some may be like Mensa. Shout out to Mensa.
Happy birthday, bro. Happy birthday, Mensa Smith.
Knicks at 5 would have still been alive regardless of anything that happened.
Yeah.
But Knicks at 5 is very much still alive. Shout out to you for your confidence. I absolutely love it. But if you're like me and you went into this thinking one way or another, there's going to be a 7-game series, maybe 6, most likely 7. I think here's where you're looking at it right now. Now we almost have a 3-game mini series where, and this is going to come off a certain way, and I don't want it to come off this way, but it's going to come off this way. So it is what it is. Take one of the next 3 games. take one of the next 3 games, and now you have allowed yourself to take one of the next 3 games, and you're 2-2 after 4. Now, I understand the immediate response to that is, well, hold on a minute. You just got home court advantage. Now you want to give a home court advantage, and you're comfortable giving home court advantage right away. Knicks have been one of the best 2 or 3 road teams, 4 road teams, whatever, in the league all year. I think you have to be confident that the Knicks could go in and win a game 5 and or a game 7, to say nothing of a game 6. So, like, for me, you've and here's one other thing you've taken off the table. In NBA history, 280 something teams have gone down 2-0, 20 or 16, something. It's 7%. 7% have won the series. So you have now taken going down 0-2 off the table. What?
See,
you're shaking.
Also, just like the only pushback I'd have to your take one of the next 3, which, look, this is the advantage you've now created, that if you take one of the next 3, you're still in a great spot. You have a road win. I just imagine if they did go up 2-0 and then lost the 2 home games is my point. Like, the how is what matters. I think the bigger takeaway to what you're trying to say is this is a very clear indication the Knicks can win this series, and they can win in Cleveland. Like, this is one of the better home teams that they just went in. This is one of the points I tried to make this week, that while also respecting how good a home team Cleveland was, I have no fear of a game 7 in Cleveland. Knicks can win that game. And I just saw them win a dogfight in game 1 with Donovan Mitchell in nuclear mode. So I'm at the point where I'm less, yes, take one of the next 3. Don't mind if you take 2 of the next 3, though,
Minimum. I'm talking about bare
minimum. Take one. But this is the advantage that you did by winning
that's my
this
point.
Game. Yes,
that is what happened when you won this game. You have created an advantage that, like, at the bare minimum, this is going to be as much of a series after 4 games as it was before game 1. Right. So I like that.
I agree.
And then the last big picture thing, and you kind of alluded to this already. I don't necessarily feel watching tonight that the Cavs left a whole lot on the table. Now, as I say that, I want to point out a couple numbers. Caris LeVert, 1 of 7 from the field, 0 of 3 from deep. Donovan Mitchell took 16 threes. He made 6 of them. We're going to talk about the defense they played on Donovan Mitchell. I think that is I think that is a commensurate number with the defense that I witnessed tonight. So I'm not gonna poke holes on that. Isaac Okoro, 23 minutes, 0 of 4 from deep, 1 of 6 from the field. What does that portend moving forward? And then I guess the big one is Evan Mobley ended up 4 of 13. There were moments early on in this game where I'm like, oh, Evan Mobley's ready for this. And then turned out he maybe was not as ready for this. I wonder if he's going to get a little bit more and more and more ready as the series goes on. On the flip side, you want to talk about what New York left on the table?
Oh my gosh, yes. So much. Jalen Brunson played 9 minutes in the first half.
Brunson 9 minutes in the first half. Emmanuel quickly made 0 as many field goals in this game as you and me. Julius Randle. Again, we're going to praise Julius Randle tonight because, again, that first half, but 20 shots to get 19 points. I think we will get better from Julius Randle. And then Jalen Brunson even, he made 1 3 tonight. 24 shots to get 27 points. And then, Quentin Grimes, a guy who's had as many threes as anybody in the league over the last 3 weeks, 1 3-pointer tonight. And then RJ Barrett, 2 of 12. I don't know. Do you want to go through some of these players now? Do you want to maybe I save it for the super chats? You tell me.
So we can quickly do we can quickly do just the
headline for each.
Well, the point that you just made about how the Cavs didn't get the Knicks' best punch in this game, and they still
no. Well, they got Josh Hart's best punch,
right? But like punch. Josh Hart was his consistent self, like what he's been since February 11th. With the Knicks, on the other hand,
no, hold on. The Shredder from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies was Josh Hart from February 11th to before today.
Okay.
Josh Hart drank the ooze before this game.
I had to make the connection. He's super shredder, super shredder,
baby.
Okay, I dig it.
Shout out to my old heads.
All of the numbers you read off for Cleveland of like guys that it's just the Knicks strategy worked really well. And look, the efficiency numbers you just read off for the Knicks with Julius, with like the Knicks shot making that didn't.
Knicks shot 27% from 3 tonight, Andrew.
Right, so
and it's
why 29. I'm like the Knicks left something on the table and won, and the Cavs, the Knicks gave them what they wanted to, and it worked. So I'm again, this might not work every game. I don't think Okoro's been a great 3-point shooter the last 3 months. My point being, the thing I did take away from the Cavs is their defense is as advertised. It just was very difficult to score points in that fourth quarter, and the Knicks still scored enough points to beat the Cavaliers.
I'm gonna push back on that in a couple ways. I mean, and the last two things, and then we'll get to the personal injury report, and we'll do a moment of the game. When the Knicks defended Cleveland, I felt watching tonight that the Knicks did not have to deviate very much at all from the script that they wrote going into this game. The most the moments that raised the most questions for me were there were 2 or 3 or 4 instances of Mitchell getting pull-ups where the drop coverage was a little bit too deep for my liking. There was a Hartenstein moment in the first half. There was a couple of Mitch moments. There was a couple of Randle moments. Was that game plan? Was that like, hey, we're not going to show him the same thing every time. We're not going to trap him every time. We are going to drop back occasionally. We're going to keep him guessing. Maybe it was. And listen, it worked. Right? You'll live with 6 of 16 from Donovan Mitchell from 3 any day of the week and twice on Sunday. And everything else, like they're going to let the guys shoot who they let shoot. There were a couple of moments where they left Garland. Didn't love that. They got to clean that up. The Osman piece, and this is going to transition to talking about the Knicks offense versus the Cavs defense. The Osman piece is fascinating to me because Benji did his excellent thread. And if you haven't watched it yet, go watch Benji Ridholtz's thread, 5-part thread on this series because it's as relevant now as it was before this game. And he highlighted Osman as like, Osman's a good shooter. The Knicks will leave him because they kind of have to, and they'll hope for the best. But like, Osman's a guy on offense that, and what did he play tonight? We obviously played a lot more than Okoro, but the point is, he was the guy they went with down the stretch of this game. And the most significant, if you're looking at the chess match between these two teams, the most significant thing that happened was Bickerstaff decided to go with Osman. He was 2 or 3 from deep, 3 or 4 from goal. So
9 points in 18 minutes.
Yeah. Bickerstaff decided to go with Osman on Brunson, and comfortable with that matchup, Osman on Brunson, because we were wondering, is it going to be LeVert? Is it going to be Okoro? Is it going to be maybe a little Dean Wade? It ended up being Osman, and that was, I was like, Osman's a big body. He can move his feet a little bit, and it gave Brunson, I don't want to say it gave Brunson problems, but like, that was an interesting chess. What were you going to say? Because it was an interesting move.
It's the move I noticed, too, in that I couldn't tell if Osman and his length and his strength was giving Brunson problems or if he was just missing shots. That's why I'm interested to go back and rewatch. But that was I put it into the faculty chat during the fourth quarter. Like, so they're clearly going. I thought he played as good as he possibly could have, but JB was getting that first step every time, which is why I just thought he missed a couple of bunnies that he normally makes. And, because Osman seemed to have a pulse on the offensive end, they were going to go with him over LeVert or Okoro, which is why I want to go back and rewatch. Was this a good defensive performance on Brunson? Did he make him work, or was Brunson just missing shots he normally makes?
But I guess my point is that you could look at this in one of two ways. You could look at this as the Cavs are the first team to have to deviate from their script, or you could look at it as their deviation maybe worked, and that'll play out.
I want to piggyback on that before we get to injury report, because the script deviation for the Cavs was coverage based. Like they actually had to get away from something they went into the series trying to do. I went with Osman down the stretch. Yeah. The next deviation was Quickly doesn't have it, and this is where
different thing.
Right. But I'm saying it's rotation based is my point. Jalen Brunson in foul trouble, so you have to go with those minutes earlier in the game. Quickly doesn't have it, so you don't bring him back in the third quarter until 1 minute left. Like, this is where I'll echo what you're gonna say throughout the post game. Tom Thibodeau, a near perfect game. Like, gave up a hit in the 9th inning, fine.
Pitched a one hitter.
Like, I'm telling you, every single thing he was doing tonight, the staggering of Randle and Jalen Brunson minutes, trusting Obi in that lineup in the third quarter because it was working. The way that he mix and matched the blitzing and coming up to the break on Donovan Mitchell, and then disguising when they were going to do drop, which like
kept him guessing the whole time.
Exactly. Like throughout this game, like a lot of the issues I had with the Knicks tonight were, oh my gosh, you are awful in transition. And it's like, oh, guys that are normally good are bad. The tip stuff, it's one thing. The possession at the end of the game when he was trying to make a sub, he made it 3 possessions too late. But other than that, I'm like, this was a perfect game. And if he's going to stagger like this, that first quarter when we saw Obi come in 4 minutes in for Julius and Brunson had already sat with the 2 fouls, it's like, oh, so your intention was to play Brunson for the entire first quarter, and then Julius is with the second unit. I love it. Every single thing he did tonight.
I love it too. One other thing real quick. Darius Garland had a good game tonight. Not a great game, but a subtly good game. He had 17 points on 7 of 13 shooting. It didn't get to the line, 2 of 4 from deep. The Knicks withstood pretty good game from the Cavs backcourt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the Cavs bet here on a lot of possessions was that, all right, you know, quickly, Grimes with your shooting, RJ, Hart, we'll let you guys beat us. And didn't work out so well with Josh Hart, but with the other 3, the bet paid off. Now, the question becomes, who do we have faith in moving forward? And, I mean, I think Grimes is going to make shots. I'll just say it. I thought his defense was solid tonight. I think his attempts were good. I thought he shot it when he should have shot it. He put the ball on the floor when he should have put the ball on the floor. Quickly, I've never seen him that nervous in a game. It's one game.
Yeah, it's one game, and Chris said this to us in the chat. It reminded us of last year when he was just apprehensive on everything.
Yeah,
and look, we've made the point this week that the reason Quickly has a longer leash than RJ is because of the defensive end. When RJ and Quickly are both missing shots, I have confidence in Quickly's defense. And tonight, Ricky Rubio left him in his tracks. So that's why you didn't see Quickly a lot in the second half.
I mean, it was as bad a game.
Yes.
I think it was as bad a game as Emmanuel Quickly is capable of playing. Do we think, based on the body of evidence that we've seen from Emmanuel Quickly this year, that this is going to be the new norm? No, I do not. Which then, last but not least, I mean, you know what I feel like right now with RJ? And this is the last thing I'll say before we get to the personal injury report moment of the game. Remember League of Their Own?
Mm-hmm.
When not there's no crying in baseball, but the next time Evelyn made an error.
Oh.
And Tom Hanks was like,
got to work on you hitting the cutoff, man.
To work on that moving forward.
I understood why Tibbs. I would have wanted, again, it's 3 possessions. I don't want to highlight it. The larger sample size was good. I did understand that Tibbs was like, Quickly's been bad. Grimes isn't hitting shots. I'll go with RJ right now because at least he can get downhill. And instead, in another game, when Quickly has it going or Grimes has it going, I think we get a different scenario.
But I'm like, I guess where I'm struggling with RJ is like, was the process good? Yeah, the process was good. You know, the turnover at the end was obviously not great. It was the only turnover he had all game. He had 6 assists. He made the right play so many times. There's a lot of good there. I thought the defense was okay. Defense was okay. 2 of 12.
Mm-hmm.
2 of 12.
Did hit the 1-3 that let me cash my over bet.
And that was a big 3, but it felt big at the moment, that 3. I just, again, RJ, I'm going to need you to hit
some shots. Yes. Can I just say one thing before I jump down? Yes. Well, I guess technically we're going to go to another segment because I can cover the 2 final things really quickly, and it's Julius and Obi, because I personally was annoyed by how much, we didn't need Julius we got during the last week of the season.
Oh, my God.
While also unintentionally, but if I go deep into my subconscious, maybe intentionally minimizing what Obi did. Obi was a plus 12 in 14 minutes tonight, was a perfect backup tonight to Julius in his minutes.
He was good.
He was really good and hit a big three as well. This is what happens when players play with confidence and getting into the game 5 minutes in, being given a leash in a clear plan that, like, you're not just getting a quick hook if you make a mistake. There were some defensive rotations. There were some box outs he missed, and he was able to work through them throughout 2 very, very solid stints in this game. So props to Obi.
Big corner 3.
I couldn't help but think about that first half when Julius was the only thing that was working on offense, because Quickly was having the game he was having, because I'll just say everybody else with Josh Hart were having the game they were having. They needed shot making. And this is why we said all week they can't win this series without Julius. And now that they got Julius for the next 6 games, hopefully, my confidence has returned in Knicks in 7.
And I feel really good about the Julius Randle I saw tonight. I understand the second half was not the best, and there were some moments. There were a couple moments. I get it. I feel good about the Julius Randle we saw tonight, and I'm comfortable with him moving forward. Okay. Personal injury report, we could do really quick. We're just going to shout out our good friends at Weiss and Rosenblum. Don't forget, if you think you might have a personal injury case, call Weiss and Rosenblum today at 212-366-6100. I'm going to give a shout out to anybody who may be watching is not familiar with Barry Weiss. Barry Weiss is a big Knicks fan. I know he's watching right now. I know he's pumped up as anybody. As a Knicks fan, he will give you extra time. No, that's not true. He gives everybody all the time that they need to let them know if they have a case or not. And then if they take on your case, they, of course, don't get paid unless you do. Again, Weiss and Rosenblum, personal injury attorneys, 212-366-6100, or visit them at weissandrosenblum.com for more information. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes. But if you need a attorney, go with a veteran like Josh Hart, not a rookie. So I guess we don't have a personal injury report, right?
The only thing I got for the personal injury report, were you surprised? Really, we really got the news yesterday that this was going to happen, but like how well Julius looked after the reports for the last 2 weeks that, like, he's not playing in contact. We saw him out of a walking boot, but the assumption was they're going to have a game or 2 without Julius.
I am a fan of the least forthcoming professional sports organization on the face of the earth. So when we got several reports of, like, no contact,
I got to give a shout out to our Ewing and Monroe tier patrons. We did our town hall on Thursday night, and I threw out there, I wonder if they're pulling the okie doke. And I think if you were there, you would have been like, Andrew, they're pulling the okie doke. They're not. Like, Julius Randle's playing in this series.
I didn't know. Play game 1. I didn't know.
But, like, how much that actually is the play, that they're going to hold up as much information as possible. And then if he misses, it's a game time decision. And it's not, they're not going to tell us 3 days ahead of time that, he's probably not going to play game 1. They're going to have the Cavs guessing until the game time decision. And lo and behold, he plays and was really good in that first half,
He was excellent. They needed him. All right. Moment of the game. I think these are an easy 3.
We have the same 3.
Well, the Hart 3.
Hart 3 is it's my number 1, and it is one of them. Yes.
I mean, play the season so far. The Randle offensive rebound with under 10 seconds ago.
Glad you specified the Randle rebound over the Grimes free throws, and then you can go one of 2 ways. You can go Hartenstein rebound to JB.
It wasn't really a rebound. It was like a slap.
But the tap out to keep the possession going. Yeah.
And I'm curious. I think we may have a different one on the last one. I have the Jalen Brunson step back 3 to make it 92-84 as my other potential one for the 3rd spot. What do you have?
The other 2 put the Knicks up by 4, 97-93, with a minute left, which then created the scenario that the Cavs
the fadeaway.
But it's why I think it's a full moment. The Hartenstein tap out, which then gave the Knicks 14 more seconds, and Brunson another chance against a defense that wasn't set, which led to the runner. I think those 3 moments. I know it's tough to. Here's the problem.
That step back.
We can point to all of these moments for the first 45 minutes of the game. When they went down 2, the game reset. Or excuse me, when they went down 1, the game reset.
Yeah, I know, but
and the biggest moments of the season, like you just said, happened in those final 3 minutes. So that's where I have to differentiate. Like there were some great moments throughout it. The touchdown pass that Brunson threw to Obi in the third quarter.
That was another one.
Like there are plenty of moments that you could point to. I have to go with those 3 because those 3 minutes won them the game, you know?
Yeah, that made it 76-65. That was when the Knicks got their first kind of nice cushion.
Mm-hmm.
I would push back and I would have the Brunson step back, but if you want to do the Isaiah Hartenstein offensive rebound and then it led to the Jalen Brunson making a very tough shot, that's fine. I'll okay with that.
If that 3 put them up like for good and then the Cavs like subbed people out, it's like, oh, okay, that's the exclamation point.
Big shot in the moment, though.
In the moment, yes, but it was followed by a 9-0 run to give the Cavs the lead, which is my problem with fully. I think it was on my list. I just then crossed everything out after the Cavs took the lead.
I think you should do a 5-minute tiebreaker. Put it in the chat. Can we do that? Are we allowed to do that?
What do you mean a 5-minute tiebreaker?
Put it in the chat. Vote for either the step back or the iHeart offensive rebound to the JB make with time under a couple minutes ago, and let them decide for that to be the third moment of the game candidate. I don't know.
Yeah, okay, so I can just make 4. I can make it 4 options.
Make it 4 options. Make it 4 options. Make it 4 options.
Okay, right. So we're gonna introduce a new segment, and it's only for this specific show. Although maybe for the next show it happens too. We're gonna do a segment called Robert Cross was sending super chats before the game. So I've got like. I lost count at a certain point. We're just gonna read these one at a time. Don't react to. Don't just analyze.
Just read
Robert Cross, you are the MVP so far, sir. So as we enter, Robert Cross.
Again, all donations go to the Robert Cross Mental Health Fund.
Yes. Thank you, Robert Cross.
Thank you for your service.
This was sent at 5:27 Eastern, so a half an hour before tip off.
It's your boy John. In Julius we trust. #53 wins.
This was sent at 5:42, so 18 minutes before tip off.
First time, long time, John. Which of Grimes' 5 threes will be your favorite? Good job jinxing him. Thanks. I'll hang up and listen. #53 wins.
He meant for the series. How many of Grimes' 5 threes in the series? I'm kidding. Quentin Grimes is gonna have a good series. This one was sent at 5:51, 10 minutes before. Oh boy.
Intuition. Money Mitch takes a star turn today. Praise, let it be. We didn't really spend a lot of time on Mitch. He had a better second half for sure. It was -15 for the game, and I don't
-15 for the game, and then Hartenstein a +17,
+18,
yeah.
or 17.
Yeah, I have 17. I have 17. Yeah. Robert Cross said at 7:30. So I think we're into the. I think we're at halftime now.
Great. First time, long time, John. The first half foul calls on Brunson were straight up bull. IQ needs to be decisive in his actions. Let's get this win. #53 wins. Quick moment on the refereeing. Very briefly. It wasn't good. It was I thought it was a favorable Cavs whistle. I thought there were maybe the foul on the Grimes foul on the Mitchell 3-pointer. That was the most egregious to me. Maybe there was another one that I'm forgetting. It was a favorable Cavs whistle. It wasn't one that I'm going to be like, I don't know. It didn't pass that level where I'm going to rant and rave about it.
It was a very physical game, which
tough to officiate.
Exactly. It's tough to officiate. I did think Breen made a good point on the call that, like, at a certain point, you have to call something. You can't just be well, I'm going to let them play. And then you started to see more calls being made. And this also leads to one point I wanted to make that I forgot to. All season, when the Knicks have missed free throws, we've been like, oh, come on, you got to make your free throws. 19 of 22 tonight, which isn't like perfect, but compared to the Cavs going 15 of 21, the Cavs left some out there, a really good free throw shooting team. We have to remember the ones they make. Quentin Grimes, the stones on God, young man, hitting those two. Because I'm staring at the
dance right now.
So, there you go. Yes, the John's doing the Sam Cassell for all the podcast listeners.
Sorry.
So, like, this is where me not being the greatest at math sometimes comes into play. I'm like, come on, you got to hit these and then you got to get back. And then in my head, once I realized, oh, if they go up 4, they're going to win, all of the stakes changed after that. So shout out Quentin Grimes. That was your clutchest moment of your career, obviously, so far. Next up, Robert Cross, as we continue this segment. This is now 20 minutes later.
And he officially made up for the 2 missed free throws in the Chicago game. Yes. It's your boy, John. Are you enjoying Brunson being the man here in the third? Thanks. I'll hang up and listen. Hashtag 53 wins. This is my opportunity to take a minor victory lap. There have been some segments of the fan base that have pushed back against the way in which New York has generated a top 3, tied for third offenses this year, top third best offense, tied for third best offense of all time in the NBA. Because it's all one-on-one and this and that and the other thing. Welcome to the NBA. Mm-hmm. It's nice to meet you. You need guys like this in the playoffs. And we have one of them now. Yeah. And my goodness, am I thankful that we do.
Him going shot for shot with Mitchell in that fourth quarter, it was just like, oh, we lose this game in the past, which is another part of this. The theme of the season, we don't win this game without Jalen Brunson. Guess what?
Wait, hold on. Did he have he had 6 points at the half, right?
Yes. He had 18 in the second half.
No, he had 21 in the second half.
Oh, he had 21. Yes, you're right.
Again, we're talking, and rightly so. We're talking about this fucking thing and that fucking. Sorry to curse. All these different things. Jalen Brunson, 21 points in the second half. Of course, because it's Jalen Brunson and that's what he does. We have this guy. He's ours.
We got one. Yeah,
this is our guy. Finally, he decided to come here.
5 minutes.
Mark Cuban's still bitching about it.
Yes, he is, and blaming Rick Brunson.
Oh my God.
People. Oh man.
Who else could he blame for his nonsense?
Oh, happy anniversary, by the way. It's the 1-year anniversary of the game that Julius and Worldwide West sat courtside of game 1 between the Mavericks and the Jazz, which then led to the Knicks getting one of the 2 guys they were scouting that
Can
night.
I do a quick happy anniversary?
Yes.
It was what's today?
Today is July. July. I'm thinking I've been writing July on a lot of invitations lately, so that's why. April 15th.
2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 10-year anniversary when me and my wife got together. So I want to take this quick opportunity to say happy, not 10-year wedding anniversary, but 10-year. I knew you were the person that I wanted to have sex with for the rest of my life.
Oh God, John!
Anniversary.
And now you give her all the meaningful minutes that you can. Now, there you go.
I wonder if my daughter's up. Oh no, she's not.
Speaking of, anyway, this is 5 minutes later from Robert Cross.
It's your boy, John. How do we feel about RJ's defense today? If I'm not mistaken, he is only 22 years old. Progress isn't linear. Hashtag 53 wins. Robert, you could save all of these comments for our off-season discussion about whether or not it is incumbent upon the Knicks to continue to invest in their 22-year-old, perhaps burgeoning player. They're trying to win right now.
Yeah. Robert, no off-season talk. What happened?
Yeah. I thought his defense was okay tonight. I thought it was solid.
It was up and down. He had moments where, oh wow, there's a moment in the first quarter where it's like, oh, you forced a turnover and you stood with Mitchell. Then there's a lot of, oh, you can't keep up with either of them on a screen, and you're letting LeVert go baseline.
But to me, in the playoffs, there's 3 different levels of defense. There's the Josh Hart level of defense. There's the you can be on the floor and you will not get repeatedly targeted and you will hold your own level of defense, which is most players. And then there is, we can't really play you, can we? Because it's just a bloodbath. RJ was in the middle. That's great. That's good. I'm sorry. Do I need to sing hosannas about that? I don't know.
We will talk about the offseason in the offseason, Robert.
Thank you, Robert.
Speaking of Robert, about 15 minutes later, there's 6 more. Yeah.
Jesus. First time, long time, John. I might suggest that the Josh Hart acquisition was the catalyst to take the Knicks from good to great. What say you? Hashtag 53 wins. Shout out again. I've shouted him out before on post games. DBN 123 is a newsletter subscriber. Gave me an impassioned comment the day of the Hart acquisition saying, this reminds me of the Busher. Again, the Busher, top 75 player of all time. Top 5 Knick of all time, in my estimation. Led them to a championship. First team all defense. All of the things. All star, all of that stuff. The vibes, though. from this Hart acquisition. I'm not sure what else. I mean, the Bushers won, but Hart's too.
I like Josh Hart. I would love if he has the same effect as Dave DeBusschere and the Knicks are winning a title with Josh Hart. As
they win a playoff series and he plays like this and he has this sort of impact. I mean, we're getting into some territory here. Okay, thank you, Robert. With another one, it's your boy John. I want Money Mitch to get his flowers for this game. I have a feeling this was probably sent like after the third quarter, which was Mitch's like very good quarter in this game. Thanks. I'll just relax a bit and listen. Hashtag 53 wins. Yes, clearly you're relaxing.
He did not relax a bit and listen. Next up. More Robert Cross.
Yes, I know. I just can't. It's your boy John. Do you think Julius Randle is healthy? Hashtag bang. Hashtag 53 wins.
I can't tell if this is during Julius's funky second half or when he hit that what I thought was a huge three.
I think it's the huge three.
So there
and
you
it
go.
it was a big three.
Yes.
To make it. Hold on. I only have 4 pages of notes from this game.
I'll let you look that up. I'm gonna go to the next super chat while you do that. Robert Cross, I could put my fist through a wall on that inexplicable non-call on Hart. Yeah, that was bad. It changed the game. Which
the push. Yeah, the push.
Yeah.
The Randle 3 he's referencing, by the way, it was really big. And again, like I respect your position, Andrew, about it was a new game the second the Cavs took the lead, but I know you've watched as many playoff games as I have, and you know they follow a pattern. And the fact that the Knicks were able to maintain that 8 to 10 to 12, whatever it was, point cushion until we got to that 5-minute mark, to the point where when the Cavs made their push, they only went up by 1 and didn't go up by 3 or 4 or 5 or something. And so that's why, like, again, that Randle 3 got it back to 87-77. It got him back to a 10-point lead. And that was after some nice ball movement, after a Brunson drive and kick. It was kick. Randle 3, wide open, good shot, made the shot. Again, they only made 6 threes tonight. That was one of them.
I agree it's big. And the bigger part for me with that stretch, which is why it's not necessarily not an important moment, it's like the bigger takeaway for me is like, oh, when Donovan Mitchell is in demigod mode, we have one that can at least match him shot for shot, which is to me like the bigger takeaway is that when a guy can't be stopped on the other end, we have another guy that it can at least try to match him in these moments, which that's what Jalen Brunson did in the fourth quarter.
And shout out real quick to Tom Piccolo, because he just pointed out something very important. RJ's 4 steals. He had 4 steals, and they all led to points. So for as much as the defense may have been iffy, splash plays count more. If we're going to sit here, and I'm going to sit here, and I'm going to harp on the 2 for 12 as being like, it's 2 for 12, guys. At the same time, you got to harp on the 4 steals that lead to points. So I think actually, like, as much as we're sitting here talking about it, after Hart, Brunson, and Randle, I think you can make an argument that RJ was like the 4th. I don't know, him or Hartenstein.
I want to give Obi some flowers. I wouldn't.
I mean, he had a nice game, but
it's different because a lot of it was like playing off of other people. But I also think the offense looked its best in the late third. I think the reason that the Cavs went away from the Okoro and LeVert experiments are because of their defensive stints against that stretch with Obi in the game.
That's fair.
You're right. I think there's a clear 1 and 2, or at least a clear 1, and
Randle's 3.
Randle's 3, fine. Randle's 3, and then Tibbs said it in the post game. One of his quotes I just saw pop up is like, "This is a team win," which like he always says but never more so than right now. This is a team win. Your 6th man of the year candidate played 14 minutes tonight. How many minutes tonight?
No, he played 23, I think.
So 23 minutes tonight, and largely was a non-factor. So let's get to the rest of Robert Cross's super chat.
It's your boy John. What do you think of our superstar Brunts? Him? Can you see it?
There you go. Him.
Thanks.
Shirt may be coming soon, by the way.
I'll calm down for a few minutes now. Hashtag 53 wins. I think
he did not calm down. There's another one.
I think he's awesome. It's your boy John. Can you give me an update on Julius Randle's ankle, please? I'm asking for a nation. Hashtag 53 wins.
And then
Robert
one
Cross
more.
Is a sick man in the head. First time, long time job. The Knicks are a better team than the Cavs. You are welcome. Knicks in 5. Hashtag 53 wins. I'll give Robert this. This is the last flowers. I'll give Robert flowers after. And Robert, we joke around with you all the time. Your contributions are
seriously.
Thank you. They mean a lot to all of us, and you're obviously you are the show here. I just happen to show up and talk into a microphone. Robert had three things that he said before over the last few days. Like the Knicks are going to win this series, and they're the better team because. And the first was they're going to out-physical the Cavs, and they out-physical the Cavs tonight. And the second was that, and this is what I just jogged my memory, the depth. And their depth tonight, I understand Quickly didn't have a great game. I understand RJ didn't have a great game. But, like, I think you felt the Cavs kind of grasping for straws as you move past the Mitchell and Garland and Allen and Mobley. And those guys can only play so many minutes. And by the way, boy, did they play a lot of minutes tonight, which is, again, something going to be worth monitoring in this series. Mitchell, 44, Garland, 43, Allen, 43, Mobley, 38. So obviously that's a bonus for them that there's 2 days off between games 1 and 2 and 2 and 3. We thought that was going to be a plus for Julius. Turns out it might be a plus for the Cavs.
To an extent, but to piggyback on Robert's point, I guess, about the Knicks' depth, when Carter made that statement on the show we went on, that I think we have 4 of the best 5 players in the series,
which is
regardless
crazy,
of whether I agree with it or not.
It's
if that's
nonsense.
but like, if you believe that, of course you're going to pick the Cavs in 5. But like, even if you say they have 4 of the best 6 or 7, I still think the Knicks have 7 of the best 11. Which then speaks to the depth. And this is what I think the rotations could look like for the rest of the series. We may end up getting to game 4 or 5, and the Cavs are like, all right, we have 7 guys that we can play tonight. And the 2 reserves are here to play like 12 minutes each. And that's the Knicks. Knicks don't have that problem. And that's a weapon. That's a point to Robert. And look, the rebounding, 13 more rebounds, 6 more on the offensive glass, and the 2 big ones down the stretch that gave them important possessions in order to win the game. It's an advantage, and it's the advantage that won them game 1 in this series. So,
are we moving on to non-Robert super chats now?
Yes. What are you smiling at?
I'm smiling at my daughter, who she again hosted several other children tonight, and they built a fort in her room, and she has just been bringing our very heavy couch pillows from her room back to the couch where they belong. She is the Josh Hart of this household tonight. I just want to acknowledge her for that.
She's Roy Kent. She's there. She's there. She's every fucking where. Josh Hart. People going to game 3. Get that chant going. I'd be honored.
Yeah,
by the way.
that would be interesting.
I'm gonna go back down. I want to get that poll up, by the way. And yes, we are at the non-Robert Cross portion of our super chats.
Love it. Okay, thanks everybody who's watching. Hope you're enjoying the show so far. Looking forward to seeing what people have to say about pretty big Knicks win. Here we go. Jesse M. Oh my goodness. Right off the bat, Beijing Barrett doesn't deserve to start the next game. We talked about RJ. We talked about it for a week. What are his minutes going to look like if he's not making the Cavs pay on offense, with his shot making in particular? But the complicating factor tonight is, other than missing shots on offense, he did all the things. So where's your sliding scale? Where does it land on how important is it for him to make shots? And how important is it for him to just kind of play within the flow and make the right play and all those things? He needs to be better. He's going to keep starting. That's all there is to it. Thanks, Jesse. Dylan Chop Charles, come on. I love it. Happy that you are happy, Dylan Chop Charles. My God, did I unleash the force of God when they won that game? I scared all of my neighbors in the building, which was fun. Jesse, what's going on, Jesse D? The rebounds by Hartenstein and Julius are what this team is all about. So happy for my guy, Julius. What a play. That's what New York basketball is. So just going to, again, talking about how this game changed over the course of the game. In the first half, both the Knicks and the Cavs had 7 offensive rebounds. By the end of the game, the Cavs finished with 11 offensive rebounds. The Knicks finished with 17. So they out offensive rebounded the Cavs in the second half of this game 10-4. If you want to talk about exerting your will on an opponent, that is what it looks like. Thanks, Jesse. And let's hope it keeps going. Hey, Shitferg, what's going on, my main man? RJ has one more chance. He does not belong out there. Oh, I see the way this is going. It's just tough. RJ has been very resilient throughout his career. If I'm pulling the plug on him in this series, I'm not doing it after this game. That said, and again, like, let's just call it like it is. He was better than Grimes and Quickly this game. Now, I think Grimes' defense was a little bit better, but RJ did have the 4 steals. And they all led to points. Again, shout out Tom Piccolo pointing that out. Like, we're going to focus on the 2 for 12. Of course we're going to focus on the 2 for 12. And the late turnover. Because we've watched RJ Barrett play this year and for 4 years. He deserves... I can't believe I'm the one saying this. He deserves more rope. He did enough good things tonight to deserve more rope. But every game is a new game. Series constantly change. Every 48 minutes, series keeps changing. So that's what I'll give you. Thanks, Asian. Robert Cross with another one. It's your boy, John. No more bull about who the Knicks are. We are a great team. We are now. Hashtag 53 wins. Look, Robert, I said before the series, I picked Knicks in 7. Hasn't changed. Knicks in 7. Keep my fingers crossed. That is a good Cavs team. You know why I know that was a good Cavs team? Because you know what happened with your great Knicks team? Cavs were up by 1 with a few minutes left. Someone's being taken away in the ambulance by Hart. Dylan Chop Charles. What's going on, Dylan Chop Charles? Again, yo, J-Mac on tonight's Forgotten Play. I can't wait to see what you're going with for this because I feel like every play was huge. Nothing is a forgotten play. But 2:20 left in the second quarter. Okay. Allen gets switched on to Julius Randle. Instead of taking a 3, he makes a great bounce to Hart to make it 48-40. This came right after the altercation with Allen at the rim. I got to go back to the notes here. Yes, exactly. That. So, and that was a great cut by Josh Hart. And it was after the altercation, but that was Randle going beast mode. And that was a big moment there because, one, it ensured that the Knicks were going to have a nice little lead going into halftime. It ended up being a 5-point lead at halftime, but whatever, that helped. And, like, look, we know who Julius Randle is. We know his emotions can get the best of him. So for him to channel the altercation into, I'm not putting it all on my shoulders, but I'm going to give my teammate an opportunity to be successful. And granted, again, lots of credit to Hart for making the cut that led to that play. I love that choice for a forgotten play because it was a big play in the moment and it was very significant. Good job by you, Dylan Chop Charles. Austin Z. What's going on, Austin? Brunson is a superstar superstar. Changed my mind. Yeah, I mean, like, to me, I've once said superstar. The only way you can be a superstar is if you can be the best player at a championship team. I think that definition is probably a little bit too limiting. Can you be the best player in a competitive playoff series between two good teams? And yeah, Jalen Brunson can. I mean, he's a great shot maker. Like, we've seen guys who can make shots, but they're not superstars because I don't know, there's something missing. And you know it when you see it. And you know it when you see someone who has what it takes. And I think Jalen Brunson will play a lot better moving forward in this series. I do. Juanon, what's going on, Juanon? 90s ugly basketball. Love it. Leave them bruised and hurting. We're too physical for them to let us play that style of basketball. Need 3 more like that. Salute KFS. Cheers. I had the thought midway, with 7 minutes or so to go in the fourth quarter. I'm like, oh, this is a first to 100 game. It hit me. First to 100. Sure enough, it was. Yeah, we touched on this before. The physicality is big. But physicality is a slippery slope. And obviously the referees have a lot to do with how much you can exert your physicality in a game and in a series. And I say that knowing the refs were pro Cleveland tonight. I do think the offensive glass and also like the way that I felt tonight on defense and again, there's so many leads here. So you can't say you're burying the lead because there's like 3 or 4 leads, but the Knicks defense tonight, their activity and their tenacity in a way that was, the word I'm going to use is responsible. They were responsibly tenacious and aggressive on defense in a way that the best Tom Thibodeau defenses are. And I for one, question whether they would be able to flip this switch in the playoffs. They did. They were ready to defend tonight, and that's how they won the game. Thanks, Juno. Kevin Wilson, I love the fact that we have a guy that can answer Donovan Mitchell. It's the coolest thing about having Jalen Brunson on our team, because how many times have we watched the other guy? I've said this on post games. How many times have we watched the other guy go off? It's like, oh, it's a shame we don't have a guy like that. Well, yeah, we do. Thanks, Kev. Appreciate you. Alex, what's going on, Alex? Can you talk about the coaching masterclass I saw? I don't know. I think Tibbs. I'm not going to talk about the narratives for Tibbs, but I will say just very plainly, the only series in Tibbs' coaching career that you could point to where it's like, oh, he really should have won that series and he didn't win it, is the Knicks series 2 years ago. And he was outcoached by Nate McMillan in that series. Was he egregiously outcoached? I don't know. Was that the reason they lost? I remember Julius Randle's performance in that series. It wasn't great. And it's not like they had a whole lot of other options to turn to. I mean, again, shocking that this is going to come out of my mouth. I had faith in Tibbs and his ability to coach a good game and a good series going into the series, and he did. And he was a better coach tonight. And he had his guy. And again, but to me, far bigger than the X's and O's and the substitution patterns and all that sort of stuff. Are your guys ready to play? Are your guys ready to play? Do your guys make the right decision? Are they prepared to make the right decision? Do they know what they need to do? Do they attempt to do what they're asked to do? Like the execution, listen, sometimes you're going to execute, sometimes you're not. But are you prepared? And do you follow through on that preparation? And tonight, I saw a Knicks team that was utterly prepared and by and large followed through on that preparation. So, yeah, I do think that's a credit to Tibbs and his entire coaching staff, including Johnny Bryant, who is a big-time coach for this team. Mark Finneran, I love this team. Me and you both, man. Me and you both. I lost my shit. Oh, my God. Ant C. What's going on, Ant? I love this team so much. How many games would a team of 5 Josh Harts win? They go 82-0. RJ and Mitch looking at 10 minutes each next game. Now, well, listen, Mitch is going to play 20 plus moving forward. RJ is more interesting because RJ, again, we're sitting here. RJ Barrett played the third most minutes on the Knicks after Julius Randle and Josh Hart. Now, part of that's because Brunson was in foul trouble. So, for all intents and purposes, let's say he played the fourth most minutes on the Knicks. If Quickly rebounds, and Quickly is better, I don't mean rebounds the basketball. I mean like rebounds from a poor performance, and Quickly is better, and Grimes starts in some shots. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Thanks, Ant. D Black, this insert expletive team. One at a time. I love you, KFS. Thanks so much, D Black. Appreciate the generous contribution. Man, I'm so happy they got this game won. I can't express to you. There have been so many times, not so many times. There have been like a handful of times where I've come on here in post games where I'm like, I needed that one. I wonder if the Knicks needed to get that to have a chance in this series to win it. I don't know. I mean, we'll see how the rest of the series plays out. I mean, they could lose the next 4 games. They could win the next 3 games. So, who knows? But that game felt really important to get. It felt really important to get. Thanks, D Black. Miss Juanon, any and all Randle haters, feel free to get the fuck out of here. I love it. That first half, I mean, boy, did Julius Randle hit some shots tonight. And again, we're gonna sit here and talk about process. There were some moments of some not great Randle, but even his attempts at and around the rim, where he was really bringing it to the Cavs physically, and then he just missed, or like, I was comfortable with the vast majority of his shot diet tonight, and I was very comfortable with his process tonight. So to think that he's going to get healthier, which I think we could count on that, and just again, for him to go out there and play in this game and have that first half that they absolutely needed to be up 5 at halftime, largely on his shoulders. On the road in game 1. Come on. Big time. Dom the dentist. You already know what we're all about to say. This fucking team, and send RJ to Siberia. Hashtag 8-man rotation. Hashtag great Obi minutes. Hashtag Nixon 6. But again, I think, man, I can't believe this is what y'all did to me. You turned me into the RJ defender. Where reasonable minds may differ. I guarantee you there are people out there on the internet, on Rihanna's internet, shout out Sean with a W, who are sitting there tonight and they are praising RJ Barrett up and down for his contributions in a game in which he did not shoot well. And those people have they have a point. I think it's tough when you look at the totality of the evidence and when you consider, and this is what I kind of always come back to with RJ, which is like, at the end of the day, yes, you need to do all those other things, and yes, those other things are vital. But like, to me, making the right play and making the right pass and like being a force on defense as this team's truly big defensive wing, that's the baseline, and you are counted on as part of your role. Be a star in your role. RJ's role on this team has to be to score. It is to score. It is to make baskets in part. So the praise can only go so far. I'm sorry. We're not sending him to Siberia. That being said, Sam Garcia's dad, I forgot what play basketball was like. We back. I forgot too, man. And really from like, and I'll admit I was texting Andrew earlier today, like an hour before tip off. I'm like, man, I don't know if it's that we produce so much content this week, but I'm like, the juices still aren't really flowing for this game. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if I've crossed over into some different emotional place, watching games or whatever. Yes, Andrew.
No, I just want to echo what you said, because it was like a combination of all we've done is like talk about the same things over and over for 5 days. But also the biggest takeaway we had was, this Cavs team's really good. So I don't want to say it crushed any confidence I had going in, but the uncertainty of Randle and just the reminder every time you look at the Cavs that they're great. I wasn't super confident before tip like you when you texted me, and yet I'm back. Like I'm back in it, baby.
Start of the fourth quarter, like every basket, it was, top of my lungs. You probably hear it in my voice. Absolutely losing it.
John's going to be on load management tomorrow, unfortunately. Thankfully, we have 2 days off.
Oh, man. Alex with another one. Glad to see my future son-in-law bury those free throws. Your daughter has great taste. If you know, hashtag if you know, you know. Let's take us, Andrew, you already did it at the top of the show. Let's take another second. We've seen a lot of guys in the NBA playoffs in that sort of moment. I will never forget, and I've referenced it before. And he's one of the 12 greatest Knicks, but the 30 for 30 documentary on Reggie Miller versus the Knicks, I will never forget. In that documentary, Mark Jackson being like, talking about John Starks in game 1, 1995, shaking his head. He wanted no parts of those free throws. And I that's the one that comes to mind because it's relevant for us here in New York because we watched it. Every fan base, every team has a player like that over their history who was a big-time player that got to the line in a key spot and wanted no parts of those free throws. Nick Anderson is probably the most famous one, at least in my lifetime. But there are many. There are many examples. And great players, too. Great players. Even in the playing game, a couple nights, Pascal Siakam, 2-time All-NBA player, right? Got to the line, got fouled on a three-pointer, missed 2 of them. Wanted no parts of those free throws. You could go through, it's a long list. For that kid, second-year player, to step up to the line, confidently knock down them both, because, man, you all know, I don't care what Robert Cross says, you all know as well as I do, if one got, and let alone both of those free throws missed, if even one missed, you know how this was ending. Wasn't ending in regulation. I'll tell you that much. Oh, man. Dead Wards 604. JB was incredible down the stretch, but Randle having a good game is a series changer. And give Leon executive of the year for Josh Hart. What a difference maker. It's a great trade. The pick is going to end up, what is it, 21 or 22 or something? It doesn't matter. Make that trade again, 7 days of the week, twice on Sunday. And yeah, I think if I am zooming out, biggest thing I'm taking from this game, for like moving forward in the series, probably Randle's performance. I think I'm taking Randle's performance above everything else. This is Is this Hush Shoe? Yeah, I think it's Hush Shoe. I legit think I scared my neighbors with the scream I let out. Let's freaking go. Thank you, Brunson, Randle, Hart, Mitch. Everyone, I'm so happy. You should be happy. This was a big win. This is why you watch sports. This is why you watch sports. Nothing else needs to be said. Jason, what's going on, Jason? What a difference Brunson makes. I love this team. Think he's worth $26 million a year? Claudio Santos, what's going on, Claudio? RJ looked like a rookie tonight, and Randle looked like in the Atlanta series. What? The difference, we now have Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Mitch, and Hart over Jordan. Claudio, I think we were watching different games. Mitchell Robinson was largely not great. He had a really good third quarter. He bounced back after halftime, which I thought was a really good job by him. There was a reason that Tom Thibodeau went to Isaiah Hartenstein down the stretch of this game. It was the right move. And Randle looked like he did in the Atlanta series. I remember that Atlanta series very well. The guy that we saw tonight looked nothing like the player that we saw in the Atlanta series. And that to me, and look, I'm guilty of this too, of like kind of like confirmation bias. So when you do see something bad, like was Randle perfect tonight? Absolutely not. Randle, again, took an ominous siren goes by. Randle took more shots than he had points. That's never great. There's no world in the NBA in 2023 where that's great, even in a playoff game of this nature. But, like, that dude was good. And, yeah, Andrew's putting in the chat. The big rebound alone, like, made a difference. But so many big shots in the first half where, like, you want to talk about where they would have, like, I actually can't even fathom. Where would they have been in the first half of this game with Jalen Brunson in foul trouble and no Julius Randle? They would have been down by 10. Because again, you're not just talking about Randle's points in the first half. You're talking about the attention that he got and the kickouts that he made, some of which were assists and some of which were not assists because they led to like other passes. And even possessions where he maybe didn't get a point or didn't get an assist or didn't get a kick out, just the attention that was focused on him because the Cavs knew they needed to focus on him. Different guy than 2 years ago. Completely different. Roger Fortune, thank you for the generous contribution, Robert. I can say a lot, but the Jays showed up. Yep. And for all of the Julius Randle haters, please put some respect because we don't win that game without him. And please keep putting Osman on Jalen Brunson. Well said on Julius Randle. I don't have anything to add to that. In regards to keep putting Osman on Jalen Brunson, the nice thing about Jalen Brunson is there is 0% of me that like thinks like, oh, like, yeah, Brunson's not gonna be able to figure that out. He's gonna keep like that dude going forward in a play. Now, I think you could say the same thing about Donovan Mitchell. He'll keep getting better. Probably Darius Garland too. Maybe Evan Mobley too. Like that's why the series is so far from over. So far from over. But like if you don't think Jalen Brunson is going to go back and like watch this tape and be like, okay. And again, that's why I think one of the biggest things to come out of this, the first deviation from the script belongs to Cleveland. So now Jalen Brunson will have a chance to go back and look at that tape and say, okay, what do I do now? I too am confident, Roger, to say the least. Thanks. Jesse D with another one. Bum ankle, didn't matter. Effort from Julius was outstanding. He's our guy. He is a all-time. I mean, I don't know what you want to say. Like I was gonna say, he's an all-time great Knick, but like he's one of the 25 greatest Knicks of all time. There's no real discussion about that. And he's going to be in the conversation for top 20 Knicks of all time if they win this playoff series and he plays big. And that may sound crazy to some people, but trust me, I've done I've done the homework. Take my word for it. Frank Miranda, what's going on, Frank? What's up, Mac? It's your boy Frank from Patreon. Let's freaking go. We won that game, and that was our C game. Yeah. You're evoking Tiger Woods on that one. I'm sorry, RJ cannot play down the stretch. He's not ready for playoff smoke. IQ will rebound, and can Hart. And Ken Hart is a dog. I think you mean Josh Hart is a dog. I do think quickly will rebound from this game. Man, do I trust RJ in a playoff basketball game? Well, we're gonna find out if Tibbs trusts him moving forward. We shall see. He's gonna start the next game though, for sure. Thank you, Frank, by the way. And thank you, everybody who's still watching. Andrew Claudio tells me we still have many, many people watching. We appreciate you. And don't forget, if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel, give it a like, give the video a like. Those things help us out and help us get noticed and all of those things. Hamdy M, what's going on? Hamdy, good to see you. Nothing comes easy in the playoffs. I believe someone said it on one of the KFS pods. If we want to win the series, game one was key. Everyone is going crazy at my house. Yeah, I was going nuts too. The one thing that I want to say in response to that, in terms of nothing comes easy in the playoffs, I saw, and I'm not trying to put this person on blast who said this, because it was a general sentiment amongst several people that I saw. I forget if I was looking at the Substack chat or maybe on Twitter, whatever. But the notion that oh my God, the Knicks should be up by so many more points, that they're leaving points on the board because of the turnovers and because of maybe some missed shots that they should normally make. This, that, the other thing. That's playoff basketball. You're never going to look your best. Unless, you're maybe the one or two teams that are going to end up in the finals. Well, two teams end up in the finals. But, unless you are a, true blue title contender, one of the two or three best teams in the league, you're going to have stretches of games where you look like you're not great. Because guess what? The team on the other side of the floor, they're game planning too, and the nerves are real. The nerves are real. Steven Schiame, let's freaking go. 1 down, 3 more to go. Man, do I have a lot more confidence in this series right now than I did 5 hours ago. I'll just say that. Thanks, Stevens. Appreciate you. Sam Garcia's dad with another one. Off the top of my head, I'm saying it's a team effort. TEAM. Big time team win. Josh Hart, but team win. Thanks, Sam Garcia's dad. Right. I could call you right. Drew P, Hart and Brunson are them. Julius Randle rebound. I am happy. Shout out to Villanova. Between Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, and Mikal Bridges making his presence known in a significant way in the Nets-Sixers game earlier today. Good day for the Nova folks. And those guys know how to win. They know how to win. They come up big when it matters most. We've seen it for the last 10 or so years. I had all the confidence in the world in those two going into this playoff series. I will. This is from Hushu. I will say RJ should be limited to 25 minutes for the series. 2 huge bigs in the paint just renders him useless. Thank you, Leon Rose and Mark Cuban. So I want to focus in on the fact that there are 2 bigs there. First of all, there's not always 2 bigs, because they only play. There are about 20 minutes less now than the playoffs. There are 15 to 20 minutes, probably more closer to 15, where one of them will be out. I think, look, RJ struggles with big time rim protection. He does. And he's a 59% shooter at the rim overall this year. Mobley and Allen, when they're in the game together, they hold opponents to 59% at the rim, which is in the 98th percentile league-wide, according to Cleaning the Glass. So you would think that that is a bad combo, especially since RJ's floater game is not really where it needs to be. I think there are still ways that he could positively impact the series, and he did positively impact it tonight. It just comes down to, can you get to 2 of 12 to 5 of 12? If RJ hits 3 more shots and the rest of his game is exactly like it was tonight, I'm sitting here and I'm talking about how RJ Barrett had a really nice game, as opposed to just like, mediocre, which is what I think it was. Dan Hidalgo, what's going on, Dan? Coming to you live from the sunny shores of Lake Erie. Shout out to you. This was far closer than it needed to be. This happens once a post game where I'll say something and then somebody will say something that evokes the exact thing that I just said. Is Tibbs trying to build RJ's confidence or what? Mitch was a monster, and Cleveland is missing the big wing to beat us. So Mitch was a monster for a stretch of that game. He was not a monster nearly enough for me. Cleveland is missing the big wing to beat us, but if they had that big wing, the big two, like you put OG Anunoby on this team might be a legitimate title contender, if not the favorite. Is Tibbs trying to build RJ's confidence? No, he played him because he felt he needed to play him tonight. Tibbs doesn't give a shit about anybody's confidence. He's trying to win games. Quickly was not good. And Grimes' impact was perhaps a little bit more muted, but that's the guy who Tibbs called for at the end of the game over RJ. And rightly so. And it should have been earlier. So, yeah, trust me, neither this coach nor this organization cares about building up RJ Barrett's confidence. Andrew, what say you?
Look no further than Emmanuel quickly for as far as like caring about confidence and whatnot. Yeah, I honestly was fine with the RJ minutes distributions. His mistakes were really loud and bad tonight, but I think if you have an effective Emmanuel quickly, or if Grimes is hitting more shots, and look, he tried to pull RJ in the fourth quarter. He just did it one possession or two too late than people probably would have liked. But yeah, I think if RJ has a similar game and IQ has it going, then you're going to see the minutes go down. But tonight's really just not the night. Like, here, I'll just read Alex's comment next. Alex is next to the super chat. Everyone needs to lay off RJ. His poise at the beginning of the game set the tone, along with Brunson and Tibbs' game plan. He will have his moments this series, and we will love it. Yeah, he had a couple. So. I hope so, yes. But I also tonight's not the night to be like Beijing Barrett needs to show up, or send RJ to Beijing Barrett showed up, send him there. I thought he had moments of that, but also moments of making enough of an impact that it's okay.
What I want to say about the loud bad moments, they are loud. And I think the reason they're loud, I feel like it's 50-50 because we're used to them and we're kind of sick of them by now, but also because of the impact they have in the moment on the game. I think tonight it's way more we're used to them and we're sick of them. I thought tonight his bad was I'll talk about a backhanded compliment. I think this was the least bad that RJ's bad has been.
His bad.
Does that make sense?
It's what we previewed.
You're muted.
Week.
You're muted.
Oh, I'm muted.
I think you're muted.
I don't.
Oh no! Now I hear you. I think
I was like, out. No, my mic is on. We talked about it all week that our concerns with RJ are like that's how much of a negative impact he's been. There's been first halves they should be up more that they're not because of him. There's been first halves they've been trailing, but they should be winning because of him. I don't really have one portion like that I could single him out for, where it's like they should have won by more. They were still in the game because of him. He was like a net neutral tonight with his play. Are his transition issues a problem? Yes. Also, so are everybody else's apparently, except Josh Hart. So
wasn't the only one,
right? Like Julius, that beginning of the third quarter where they had multiple fast breaks and they didn't get a point out of it, and then Tibbs called timeout, and I was even like, yes, like reset everything. Let's just
great timeout, by the way.
Treat it like the pitch clock and just reset everything. At this
great
point.
timeout.
Yeah, you needed me up here. Was it just so you could eat something?
It was because I needed to eat 3 chips with salsa. Yes.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, I'll hang out for like a minute because I think there's one that.
No, I'm good. But stay
you're good.
Please.
Okay,
no, stay up.
No, I took the hint. It's okay. By the way, to Claudio earlier, not all Claudios are created the same. By the way, I thought this was not the Julius in the Atlanta series. I love the name. Don't like the comment.
Chris, I got Knicks fever. And the only cure is more cowbell.
It's more Thibodeau. Yeah.
I want to see Thibodeau in the Will Ferrell outfit from that sketch.
I got a prescription. Yeah, that's my walk-in right there.
That was good.
Yeah.
Bernard Richardson, what's going on, Bernard? Having Chetty guarding Brunson on purpose is disrespectful. JB is our superstar. # Knicks in 5. Yeah, I mean, yes, but like NBA series change when teams like discover things. Like the Knicks won this game. Thank the good Lord. And thank the good Lord that Josh Hart hit that 3 when he did, or you want to go Julius Randle got the offensive rebound, or Isaiah Hartenstein got the offensive rebound, and or Jalen, whatever. The Knicks won the game. If the Knicks didn't win this game, we'd be looking back. I personally would be looking back on the Cavs putting Osman on Brunson and being like, you know what? It wasn't great, but like it was a pivot that kind of worked. And now instead we're looking back at it and it's like, okay, the Knicks got the win. It ultimately didn't work. And now Jalen Brunson gets 2 nights or 2 days to think about that matchup moving forward and this and the other thing. These games just like, and these series just change on a dime. They change on a dime. This is why the playoffs are great. Dylan Chop Charles, what's going on again, Dylan? I want to give RJ credit tonight on his defense. He may get some heat tonight, you think, but he played solid defensive game. Whispers, I still want him gone, though. Well, look, we're no offseason talk. That's the rule. We'll talk about all that when the year is over. Jesse M. I thought we lost after the 9-0 Mitchell run in the 4th. Did the Mitchell? I know Mitchell probably scored 9 straight points.
It wasn't just him, but it was like inspired by Donovan Mitchell. The 9-0 run that
did the Cavs go on a 9-0 run?
The 3-pointer that you wanted on the moment of the game list to make it 92-84.
Yeah.
Was followed by a 9-0 Cavs run, which is why I said this game reset after.
How did I not realize that?
Yeah, it was then 93-92, which then followed the 3 moments I pointed to: the Josh Hart 3, the Hartenstein tap out to the Brunson layup, and then Julius rebound to the Grimes free throws.
You know why it didn't hit me in that way? Because so that made it 93-92.
Correct.
So before it was 93-92, it was 92-84. So the reason why it didn't hit me in that way is because that 9-0 run came in like 2 different segments. There was like the Donovan Mitchell, the 3 that made it 92-87 was, I want to say that was like kind of defensible. I think the defense there. I'm going to check my notes here.
It forced the timeout, and then it's why I keep pointing to Tibbs being 3 possessions too late, or I guess in this point 2 possessions. 3 possessions too late, because the Cavs scored in the next 3 possessions.
Yeah,
Tibbs called timeout again and got the 2 guys that he wanted to get into the game.
So the Mitchell 3, the Mitchell 3 there was with Mitch hanging too far back, and then that was the Knicks timeout 92-87, and then it felt like they maybe were hopefully had settled things down, and then it was the 3 straight very poor possessions by the Knicks, which led to 3 straight Cavs getting buckets. So it was like there was the 3, then the Knicks timeout, then the rest of the 9-0 run. So it didn't feel like a 9-0 run. That's why I'm like, okay. Yeah. Anyway,
to Jesse M's point, I also was like, damn, they're gonna blow this thing. And then Josh Hart. Just again the formula for the offseason that, and look, Benji's tweet, as it always does, I thought captured the game. Like the 3 biggest offseason acquisitions were then highlighted in the next 2 possessions for the Knicks. A Josh Hart, or I guess not offseason because Hart was a middle of the season, but the Knicks front office really shined in those final 3 minutes because you get a Josh Hart 3 to give him a lead. You get the Hart tap out to keep the possession, a Jalen Brunson layup to put him up 4. And then I have to add this to the equation, which we really haven't done much tonight, but it's part of the conversation. But not trading Julius and not trading Grimes in any Donovan Mitchell trade, the final 2 pieces of the win tonight, the big rebound and the big free throws. You know,
a guest has joined us. My wife is sitting about 2 feet away.
Hi, Dolores. Rosina's like 5 feet right there. So
it's like
we're like on a double date right now. I don't think they want to be here, but it's a double date in my mind.
It's a double date against their will.
There you go.
Thanks, Jesse. Anthony 6, though. Microcosm of the season. A lot of things didn't go our way. They fought through. Some guys go cold. Others step up. I love this team. Hashtag ride with Randle. I like that hashtag. He's earned it. I said it a few months ago. He's our guy. Ham DM with another one. Hart was a genius tonight. He is such a smart player. It felt like watching Josh Hart out there, it felt like there was like I'm trying to think of the, like he had like there was a turbo pack like hooked up to him. And the second there was a loose ball or a rebound to be had, he would just like push a button. And for like 1 second, he would be, you know, it's like I'm thinking about this because I just watched the Mario movie with my daughter. When you were in Mario Kart and you got, I forget what it was. It wasn't the mushroom. It was something. You'd get something and then you'd like jet ahead really fast. That's what Josh Hart had the entire night. And every time there was a ball in the air or on the ground, he would go quicker than everybody else to that ball. Dude did he have 10 rebounds? I'm pretty sure he had 10 rebounds, which is freaking ridiculous.
17 and 10 for Josh Hart.
6'4" guard. 10 rebounds in a playoff game on the road. Lil Horst. It is 2:44 in Zurich, Switzerland, but I am too hyped to go to bed. Josh Hart, will you marry me? I think Josh Hart is currently expecting twins. That said, I'm sure he appreciates your proposal. And thank you for being a Knicks fan in Switzerland. And I hope to visit Switzerland one day. It sounds like a fabulous place. James Choi. Let's freaking go. Hart, Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, Mitch, everyone else, forget this game and look to improve next game. Tibbs, perfect game plan, shorter leash on RJ. I feel like the biggest point of this, like the RJ stuff, I knew we were going to get the RJ stuff because it's like, it's RJ. The Mitch part is interesting because, like, it's kind of the inverse of RJ. We were just saying, like, RJ's bad moments are very loud. Mitchell Robinson's good moments are very loud. And he had some very loud, good moments tonight. Again, 5 offensive rebounds, in 26 minutes. He had a couple steals. Like, there were some really good defensive plays that Mitchell Robinson made. Certainly in the third quarter, a couple in the fourth quarter. I'm sure there's a couple scattered in the first. It wasn't all bad in the first half. So, like, maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh on Mitch tonight, but there were moments where his lack of just felt like he could be more consistently physical in this game. And maybe it's because I think a lot of Mitchell Robinson, where I expect a lot from him. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Thanks, James. C. Fagan 1517, unreal. Been watching since the We Here season and haven't commented yet. Oh, well, thanks for chiming in. Couldn't be a better time, too. What a game, what a season so far. KFS has made this experience that much better. Let's freaking go Knicks. Well, we're pleased to do it. We're honored that everybody here watching has made us a part of your Knicks fan experience. You know, we all love this stupid team. Might as well do it together, right? Keith, hey, my main man. What's going on, Keith? I'm going to let y'all do the analyzing. all I'll say is this is playoff basketball, baby. As I've said before, and I will say again, Josh Hart is my Lord and Savior. Let's go. Shouts to KFS. Championship player. So, I think was it the Knicks account? It was, I don't know. I follow too many accounts that I have on notifications, but there was an account that shortly after the game, might have been like Knicks videos or something on SNY. I don't know, whatever. It was an account on Twitter that commented that Josh Hart is a 16-game player. And Draymond Green has made himself very well known over the years for talking about how there are 82-game players and there are 16-game players. And it's funny because, like, Portland, who can't figure out the whole 82-game thing, sent us this 16-game player. And, 16-game players like this are, when you get down to it, and when you and this is especially in the NBA the way it is now, where whatever your weak spot, like, you can't have a weak spot anymore. If you're trying to win a championship, and again, this is not the Knicks are not a championship team, but they're trying to assemble one. And getting Josh Hart was a part of that process because, and this is the point that I want to make, you get to a point where it's, okay, where's the weak spot? And teams are good enough that if you have a weak spot on the offensive end or you have a weak spot on the defensive end, they will find it, they will exploit it, and they will not allow you to have that weak spot out on the court. It does not matter how good that player is in other scenarios. It is why the Dallas Mavericks, in their idiocy, looked at Jalen Brunson after his third year, after Rick Carlisle buried him on the bench because he did not feel he was a 16-game player. That's why they didn't offer him the money. Josh Hart's a 16-game player. And it is so painfully, blatantly obvious to anyone willing to look. And how many 16-game players do you need to win a championship? Well, you probably need at least 5. Ideally, you have 6, but you need at least 5. Well, Jalen Brunson, the Knicks got one. Josh Hart, the Knicks got one. I think we could have the conversations about the other guys are probably a little bit longer. Julius Randle made his case tonight, and I have a feeling some other guys are going to make their cases moving forward. Hush Zoo, Knicks in 4, book it. I'm out the window. Man, if the Knicks sweep this series, I'll be out there. I live on the 4th floor, and I'll be out the window with you. Thanks, Hush. Appreciate you. Busy, what's going on, Busy? How you doing? I can't wait to see what Busy thought about this game. KFS is going to reap the benefits of me killing Randle for the last 2 weeks. I was wrong. Big of you to acknowledge that. He did an excellent job. Nothing else to say. Got to give credit where credit is due. Nothing else to say. I mean, yeah, but look, we had a lot of time and no games of consequence. So the conversation about a lot of things got to a place where it probably was not incredibly productive. But the spirit of well, wait a minute, like, is there a world where this team is better without Julius Randle? The spirit of the conversation is a valid one, not because I personally agree with that point. I think the Knicks need the best version of Julius Randle to be the best version of themselves right now. But, like, Randle's not perfect. And he's not perfect in a way that can be detrimental because he has the ball a lot. And, and he's kind of a finicky star in that way. But by the same token, he is a star. And you need stars to win in the playoffs. And I think that's what you're really getting at, Busy. Let's hope he, even gets a little bit better from here. I hope so. Thanks, Busy. Appreciate you as always, man. Seriously. Jacob Maximovich. Mitchell, 43 minutes. Allen, 43 minutes. Garland, 43 minutes. They treated this like an elimination game, and they still lost. They'll come back in game 2, but yikes. Game 2 becomes really interesting because now, obviously, all the pressure goes on the Cavs in game 2. I think they'll show up. But I think it's going to be a close game. I think every game in this series is going to be a close game. We're just getting started. But yeah, they did treat it like an elimination game. They did. And again, like, first playoff game since LeBron James was there. And that mattered to them a lot. That building was freaking wild to start off. And the Knicks took it. They took it, and they withstood. Credit to them. Thanks, Jacob. 007 Angelo. RJ needs to learn from Josh Hart. You don't learn that shit. You are either born with that or you are not. Sorry. Thanks, 007 Angelo. Austin Z. Looking at the minutes distribution for the Cavs is eyebrow raising. I agree. They're in real danger of wearing down compared to New York as the series goes on. So, Andrew, come up here because I'm going to probably forget. So, there's 2 days off between game 1 and game 2 and then game 2 and game 3. Then there is 1 day off Friday to Sunday between 3 and 4. And then from there on 4th, is there any more where there's multiple days off? Do you have it handy? Because I don't.
It's on our Google Calendar. So give me a second. Yeah, I have it here. So game.
Oh, I have it. So sorry. So game. I just needed to.
You got it. You're good.
Thank you so much, Andrew.
Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. That's it. It's Wednesday, Friday. Sunday.
So there is 2 days off between game 4 and game 5, and then 1 day off between 5 and 6, 1 day off between 5 and 7. So yeah, the minutes may rear their head. They may.
You want to talk about must-win games? Like, to this point that whoever made the point that the minutes distribution was like an elimination game for the Cavs. While it may look like it that way, they still also did play 9 tonight. Like, it could get even shorter, is my point. Like, we could end up with even more minutes, like a 48-minute Donovan Mitchell game.
So the interesting thing there is, yes, you're right that the Cleveland did only play 9. Rubio, it felt like Rubio played about 8 minutes.
6. And then
6.
Fred
and
Katz.
Wade played
Dean
7.
Wade played 7 minutes, yes.
So he can.
We're going to see Danny Green in this series, aren't we? They're going to at least try.
No.
Just to try it, even if it's the 6 minutes that Rubio played tonight, to be like, veteran can shoot threes. Why not? If it may go horribly, I'm just saying they'll either go to a 6 or 7 man rotation. That's really a 5-man rotation with some breaks, or they'll see if there's something left in the Danny Green tank.
I think if this series is, especially if the series is tied to well, whatever, by game 5, I think this is a 7-man rotation for the Cavs. And at this rate, I'd bet on the Knicks keeping it at 9.
Yeah. The Knicks' depth is going to be a weapon, and it was clearly a weapon tonight.
We hope so.
Yeah.
Thanks, Austin. Thank you, Andrew. Alex, please talk more about Obi. His minutes were huge and productive, not shy on this stage. He held his own on defense too. Not great, but good enough. I think that's very well phrased, and I appreciate you bringing it up. He was good. I think he was good in a way that is maybe quieter than Obi often is good. He did have, it's funny because one of the things that I didn't get a chance to write about it that I was thinking about before the series started was when Obi is in there against Cleveland's backups. So only one rim protector there, and, defensive players that he should be able to take advantage of. Can Obi put the ball on the floor, right? Can Obi do a little something? And he had one opportunity to do that. I believe it was in the first half, and it ended up in a turnover. It was a nice move, though. I appreciated the sentiment. I appreciated the effort. I liked Obi's game. I love the fact that, as you pointed out, he's ready for this moment. I mean, again, for him to come in, and if you look at Isaac Okoro knew coming into this series, I'm getting shots. I'm getting chances from three. He didn't hit him. All the Cavs supporting players, other than Chetty Osman, they knew that the ball was coming their way. It wasn't like they showed up tonight and be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe the ball ended up in my hands." Yeah, that's the game plan, and nobody really came up big other than Osman. Obi, same thing. Obi knows he's going to get shots if the ball moves and he's the open man. And for him, I mean, look, I'm talking about 1-3, yeah, but like, no hesitation, release, smooth, make, big shot. Sean Ford, let's freaking go Knicks. Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, the screams I let out in this game were pent up for 20 years. Josh Hart is the MVP. There should be no doubt. I need to actually, since you bring up the screams, I need to ask my wife, who was sitting here, were our neighbors frightened by me? She said yes. And what was that? I almost jumped into the ceiling. Well, that's not true because I'm very short and because we're on the 4th floor, have high ceilings. I almost jumped to the ceiling. Did I jump? Was it the highest you've ever seen me jump? It was close. As high as she's ever seen me jump. Okay, this is breaking news here. I went into a ball? Was this when I was holding the pillow?
This is exceptional podcasting.
Isn't this great podcasting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, someone off mic.
Sorry. Okay.
I liked it. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was going to say, give her the mic is what I was going to say.
Well, the last question. Will our guests ever come back? They want to come back. Okay. Well, that's a good sign.
More friends.
It's a great sign. Haitian Ferg, with Randle healthy, the series does change. I agree. Hart ensured this win. Yep. Give him the money now. Yes. This team is special. Quick will bounce back. Mitch Hart was clutch on rebounding. RJ better get it together. As usual, Haitian is able to sum up most of my thoughts in one super chat. I appreciate you as always. I want to focus on the first part. With Randle healthy, the series changes. Yes, I agree with you. I know not everybody feels this way. For me, going into the series with the Randle health uncertainty, I did not feel these two teams were on equal footing. With Randle seemingly healthy, I think these teams are evenly matched. And I say that with the slight hesitation of, and look, Jalen Brunson, superstar with a capital S. Donovan Mitchell was extraordinary tonight on offense, for sure. Extraordinary. Like, the man, what did he put up? 38 points in a playoff game. I understand it took him 30 shots. It's not ideal. But he had 38 points and 8 assists in a playoff game. With 3 steals, by the way. He had some decent defensive possessions. And a block. And only 2 turnovers. Like, so if they do still have the best player in the series, and I'm sorry, I still think that Donovan Mitchell is the best player in the series, that does matter. I still think that these teams are evenly matched. And the fact that we got game one and Randle is healthy, if the teams are evenly matched, then theoretically they should split the next 6 games, 3-3. We come out on top. Matt, what's going on, Matt? From down under, this team, are we dreaming? Are we dreaming? I hope not, because this was a lot of fun. Busy with another one. The Cavs are a bad road team. This was a must win. I said it in the Discord. Knicks in 5. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm going to be eating crow. Mitchell has to do too much for the Cavs to win, and I don't believe he can. That, again, one of those instances where it's like coming off the point that I just made, perfectly timed super chat. So again, Garland. Good game from Garland. Like, it was good. Darius Garland had 4 steals, my lord. And here's another number. Only had 1 assist. Now, I'd have to go back and really rewatch all of Darius Garland's possessions to get at the heart of, like, why did he only have 1 assist? Obviously, the ball was in Donovan Mitchell's hands a lot more. The one thing about the situation with the two of them, with Mitchell and Garland, is like, say, no, you kill it. There are pairings in the NBA where, you know, you got your top two, you know, ball handlers, or your top 2 engines, whatever you want to say, on a team, where it is very clear that they are just, like, you know, perfectly suited to play with one another. It's funny that the first example that came to my mind was like Kobe and Shaq, even though they hated each other. But like, where it's just it's you know, it's like 2 puzzle pieces. Darius Garland's a point guard, true as can be. Donovan Mitchell is a combo guard. So like, they're not the perfect match. And for Darius Garland to end a game like this with only 1 assist, like, is further proof that the way the Cavs structure is set up is not, again, I'm not saying it's bad. They had the 7th best offense in the freaking league this year. And clearly they are a difficult team to stop. But like, is the way they're set up with these 2 star guards, is that the way to get the most out of their talent? And I don't know the answer to that question, and I have my suspicions. That said, it's a very long-winded way of me saying that, like, Garland had a good game. You know, Busy, to your point, Mitchell's going to have to do too much for the Cavs to win. I mean, like, you know, Allen only took 8 shots, but then again, he's not ever going to take a whole lot more than 8 shots. And then there's Mobley. He took 13 shots, only made 4 of them. Can he be better? Can LeVert be better than 1 of 7? You might have something there, Busy. You might have something there. And again, shout out to Robert Cross, because he's been saying it, the Knicks depth. And a lot of people have been saying it. Sam Garcia, Tibbs reluctant to take RJ out down the stretch in favor of Grimes almost cost them the game. Nevertheless, 1 down, 3 to go. I think he was maybe trying to take him out a little bit before that. Of course, we're going to find a way to get a dig in at Tibbs here, who coached a brilliant game. Look, RJ turned it over in a big spot. Wasn't ideal. You know, it happened. I don't know what to say. Bernard, what's going on again, Bernard? Grimes stepped up and hit those last free throws like a veteran. The team is just full of winning players, and it's filling the cracks when they are not perfect. They do complement each other. See, that's the flip side of the coin in terms of the Knicks. I think they maximize their talent very well. And the one guy that a lot of people will look at and say, well, they're not maximizing his talent, is RJ. Because, again, he's an on-ball guy, and he kind of has a different sort of role here. Other than him, though, like, his team complements each other really well. They just do. And they fill, and as you say, Bernard, they fill in the cracks for one another, which is very important. Thank you for that. David Crockett, what's going on, my man, David? Brunson and Spider both finished at +2. Huge. Yeah, those guys are gonna, man, this is gonna be gonna be a hell of a series. Robert Cross he's back. He probably went to the gym and came back. Is it fair and reasonable to say the Knicks are winning this series? If so, can you count on 53 wins? Hashtag 53 wins. Is it fair and reasonable to say the Knicks are winning this series? It is fair and reasonable to say that. I don't know that they will. I hope they will. I feel pretty good about this series going 7 games, though, at this point. You know? Because for this series, at this point, not to go 7 games, that would mean the Cavs would have to win 4 of the next 5. I don't think the Cavs will win 4 of the next 5 games. That's exciting.
Jump out the window. They're winning this series. Not, I hope. Not. It's fair and reasonable for you to say that, Robert.
I'm not. Andrew.
Jump out the window.
Andrew.
Yeah.
The kids, I think they put it. Say it with your whole chest.
Mm-hmm. Say it with your chest.
Isn't it your whole chest?
It's a Kevin Hart line. It's just say it with your chest.
Oh, say it with your chest.
Yeah, but I'm sure the kids have added addendums to it, but yeah.
The kids are crafty.
Mm-hmm.
As you know.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do it yet. I still have too much respect for Donovan Mitchell, and I have too much respect for the Cavs team that I watched tonight, and I was like, oh, wow, this team is shook, or, oh, wow, this team is like, they don't have an answer, or like, this team is good, man.
Good. Shout out CP, the franchise. The jump out the window thing is a Knicks fan TV thing.
I know. Alex did that, right?
Right. So they've been trying to get CP to jump out the window all season. He jumped out game 82. So the next hurdle is to get Macri to jump out the window. It may take the Knicks to be up 4-2 or 4-3.
I was about to say when they win the series,
and it's like, hey guys, it just jumped us. Yeah, I know it's over. John, good timing. The next comment is directed at me, so I'll stay on for it.
I thought
you read it.
Hardwood Knocks. Is this Dan?
This is Favali, yeah.
Is Claudio going to atone for his off-air Cavs in 5 prediction, or?
So this is Dan Favali, one half of Hardwood Knocks. He's a writer for Bleacher Report. Game 7 of the season, wrote an article for Bleacher Report. The Knicks needed to fire Tom Thibodeau.
I remember. I read it.
Strike one. And then on his podcast, which I just put into the chat that everybody should go hate watch like I like to do, he not only picked Malcolm Brogdon to be the 6th man of the year, but left both New York Knicks off his all-NBA teams and put 2 of the partial attendance Laker boys on there. I actually think he went Kawhi and AD or Kawhi and LeBron at his forwards. The point being, apparently playing games doesn't matter. Julius should have just stopped at 50 games. So everybody in the chat, if you're still here and you want to go hate watch like I did, go to Dan Favali's podcast, Hardwood Knocks, and hate watch along with me when I hit him up in the comments that he's no longer allowed back in the tri-state area. His co-host Grant Hughes had both Quickly as 6th man and Randle on 3rd team. So Grant, you're allowed back at the barbecue or the party, whatever we're having here in New York. Favali, I'm sure they'd love you up in Boston. Enjoy the chowder.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. He also picked Cavs in 7. So, by the way, my off-air Cavs prediction was I want to see what the Knicks, what Randle looks like, but I think Knicks in 7 is in play. And now I'm all the way in. I'm JD, Alex, CP. I've jumped out the window. I mean, look out because I'm kind of big, so get out the way. But point being, obviously, it was a pretty big window too. Anyway, shout out Hardwood Knocks, okay? And shout out to all Knicks fans that are as irrationally hype as I am at the moment.
There's something fitting about the fact that there's a Fast and Furious 10 commercial on my screen right now as you're jumping out the window.
I guess for context, Dan is a friend. But right now, you came out the king and you missed. So go ahead, Knicks in 7, and I enjoy going in hate watching all of your other incorrect predictions for the rest of the playoffs, Dan.
Don't forget to subscribe, and review Dan's podcast. Robert Cross is the first time, long time, John. I said it once, I'll say it again. Knicks at 5, hashtag 53 wins. Man, I'm not jumping out that window yet, Robert. Sorry. You're by yourself. You and Mensa. Thank you. Appreciate you as always, Robert. Here's Claudio Santos again. One has to feel for Quentin Grimes. Oh my goodness, where is this going? He plays terrific defense over and over again, and the refs keep sending Mitchell to the line for no good reason. That's a complaint as old as time in the NBA. Superstars get calls. The Knicks don't get as many calls. Brunson and Randle in particular, but Donovan Mitchell, he's gonna get calls. He knows how to do it. He's good at it. Give him credit. Yeah. Thanks, Claudio. Jeff Smith. Wife and I ran a marathon this morning. God bless you. I did go for a run this morning, though, so I don't feel too bad. But Hart didn't beat as fast through the run like it did during – but your Hart didn't beat as fast through the run like it did during the last 5 minutes of the glorious game. You spelled Hart, H-A-R-T. I don't know if that was intentional or not because it threw me off. Holy shit. Thank you, Box Outs. Thanks, KFS, for the needed cool down. You're welcome. I don't know if this is a cool down, but we appreciate you chiming. You're coming and checking us out and the whole thing. Good job by you running a marathon, if that's true. God bless. Matt from Down Under again. Brunson is him. Not even our best game, as you say, GMAC. So much potential. Also, shout out my mate, Wheeze. Drove 9 hours interstate to watch together. I'm not going to lie. If you'd put a gun to my head and said, is it possible to drive from one place to another place in Australia for 9 hours? I might have said no. And I now know the difference. And knowing is half the battle. Robert Cross, let me repeat, Knicks in 5. They are the better team. I will say once more, Knicks in 5. Hashtag 53 wins. Your 53 wins has been noted for the record, Robert. I hope you get it. Hush with another one. Jay Wright is also an MVP for making some insane players. I'm putting this one out there. If the Knicks win this series, the Knicks had the best 2022 offseason. That's a great one. Because, who's the team that is in contention with them for the best offseason of 2022? It's probably Cleveland because they traded for Donovan Mitchell, and Donovan Mitchell's really good. Other than those two teams,
Sacramento,
they traded for Kevin Huerter.
Malik Monk, drafted Keegan Murray.
Malik Monk, Keegan
Murray. Hired
okay.
Mike Brown.
Okay, all right. They're the other contender. That's it, though, right? That's a good one. Good one.
We had talked about this a couple weeks ago. We had said that someone asked about Leon's candidacy for Executive of the Year. Now, I don't know how many Executive of the Years had to go through a tampering charge in order to eventually win it. But when we went through it and we looked at the candidates, you know what? He does have a case. He's just not going to win, unfortunately, because of the politics of the award. As Knicks fans that care about awards are learning the politics of certain voters and their criteria,
Hashtag nonsense. Robert Cross, it's your boy John. The Knicks are a better team than Cleveland. Hashtag 53 wins. I think Robert.
These are all different super chats, by the way. These are all different things.
No, I know. I think Robert is stuck in the Matrix. And this is his cry for help.
I think he's more stuck in a video game that's lagging. So it's repeating the same thing over again, So you have to, it's one of those types of things. So I guess the Matrix can be looked at as a video game. Another one for Robert Cross.
Can you imagine if you were a first-time watcher of the first game? I guarantee you there's someone out there watching for the first time, and they're like, what is this? Is this a real person? Let me assure you, first time.
He's real, and he's spectacular. You're welcome. I have seen an episode of Seinfeld.
Robert Cross is not only a real person, he is actually kind of normal.
He's so real. He's unreal. Yeah. Speaking, so we haven't even read the chat. It's your boy, John. The Knicks are more physical. Go ahead.
Physical team than Cleveland. Hashtag 53 wins. Yes.
And then.
Is there another one?
Yes. Read the chat.
First time, long time, John. The Knicks are a deeper team than Cleveland. Hashtag
And
53
then...
wins. Robert Cross. It's your boy John. We are beating Cleveland. Hashtag 53 wins. Robert.
Seriously, thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Robert. Like, we're an honor to have you as part of this community and such a valuable part. I don't know what else to say other than you're a crazy person. But you are a real crazy person. You're not a fake. You're not a bot. Matt G. What's going on, Matt? Been watching since 1920. All right, so it's been pretty good for you overall. Obi in the third gave a big energy boost, forcing Mobley to shoot in the post off of the short roll. Mitch, big fourth, woke up. Yes. Well, more big third for me. I thought he had some moments in the fourth, but I also thought he had some not great moments in the fourth. I really want to go back and rewatch Mitchell Robinson's fourth quarter. I think that's where I'm at this point. I don't even want to comment on it anymore because I feel like I'm off base. RJ, love all the work from the KFS crew. Yeah, I think, and Obi, again, I got to go back to the notes. Obi, I want to say in the third quarter, pretty soon after he checked in, may have lost. Not lost, but he allowed a bucket to, like, I think it was either an Evan Mobley like offensive rebound or like Mobley went baseline or something, but he definitely scored on Obi Toppin, and I was like, is he going to struggle with that matchup? Or maybe it was in the first half because I'm looking at my notes and I can't quite find it at the moment. But there was a moment where I was like, oh man, I don't know about this. He was so much better. Or so good other than that. Defensively, I thought especially. He was really good. This is a really good Obi game. Thanks, Matt. Mike Conrad. Thank God Tibbs took RJ out in the end. I wanted to reach into the screen and take him out myself. I'm sure you're not alone in that sentiment. If we want to win, IQ or Grimes need to close. I honestly, like, part of me's happy IQ had the game that he did. Like, does anybody here watching think that this is what Emmanuel Cookie's going to be in this series? I don't. And so he had this game. I literally don't think he could have played worse. Literally. And so he's going to go back and be like, well, shit. I think he's like, all right, that's out of my system. Let's giddy up. And Grimes, I wonder how those two free throws are going to spur him moving forward in this series. If you get both of those guys playing at a high level, then it's a question of like, well, if Hart's playing like this and Grimes is playing good and Quickly's playing good, how many minutes do we have left for who? And that's been the elephant in the room since we started analyzing the series in the beginning. But we'll see. Ant C. Knicks should have signed Melo to bench RJ for the playoffs. This is Andrew propaganda. Yeah, Andrew just had to go change his pants.
3 to the dome. I don't co-sign the comment because I don't need to watch Melo getting DMPs in a playoff game, but 3 to the dome. I appreciate you, Ant.
Oh my God. Sorry. It's 2 hours in. The fine folks at I think One Bev sent me just for the playoffs, just to make sure I was all liquored up for the playoffs, a new case of wine. And I'm starting off tonight. Tonight's beverage of choice was the Rusty Cigar. You may hold on. There it is. You may remember the last time they sent me a case, and I was really enjoying this red blend. I cannot endorse this enough. I attribute tonight's win to Josh Hart and the Rusty Cigar Premium Red Blend. Thank you for the free booze.
Thank you. I didn't get any because I didn't ask for any, but thank you, friends of the pod, for sending down alcohol.
I could send you a bottle.
It will sit right there. Remember the thing you sent me for our engagement?
I sent you a bottle of champagne.
Yeah, it's right there.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. We're saving it for, a reason. Thank you. It looks nice. It meant a ton. Don't get me wrong.
I'm just looking up at my screen and I see Malik Monk has 24 points on 9 shots and has gotten to the line 8 times and made all 8. My goodness. Okay.
Yeah, there's a fourth quarter. There's a second half comeback going on in that Sacramento Golden State game.
Yeah, no, I've had it on the whole time, but it seems it's been pretty close throughout, more or less.
There was a point where the Warriors got up to double digits, but it's been
okay.
In the third quarter, the Kings closed with a flurry, and now they're back. So,
yeah, good for Sacramento. Dom, what's going on, Dom? We back. Hashtag we back at the top of my lungs. Thank you, John, for talking me off the ledge with concerns on the perimeter defense. Very encouraging start on that end. How many times tonight have I called something else the story of the game? We have about 8 stories of the game. The defense. It's just the perimeter defense in particular, but the defense overall. Big time. And we knew, and I thought they had it in them, which I told you. Ryan Nelson. What's going on, Ryan? Let's freaking go. Should have beat them by 20. Again, it's the playoffs. You don't unless you're, it's like, Boston, Atlanta, or Philly, Brooklyn. You're not gonna get those games. These are 2 good teams here. So many needless errors. Yes, they'll correct them, but so will the Cavs. Imagine if we had Anthony Edwards at the 3 or Giddey. Wow, those are 2 different names. RJ is puerile. I'm not even gonna pretend to know what that word means. I'm gonna Google it though. Did you see that blown fast break where he faked the pass and got stripped? Yeah, I did. It was probably the low point of the night for me, for RJ. Did not care for that because that, again, evoked a lot of why does this big, strong guy who lives at the rim, how can he be so bad on the break? That was rough. As far as the needless errors, I think that's a lot of playoff jitters, and I think it just happens, and I think they got a lot of them out of their system. And puerile, it's an adjective, obviously. Childishly silly and trivial. Gotta tell you, I appreciate the use of the word. Learn something new every day. Dom with another one. I couldn't believe some of the open threes early against the defense. Need to knock them down. Good job on the free throws, though. Most definitely keep that up. Yeah, again, tight. They'll knock down the threes. Grimes in particular. I have a lot of confidence in Quentin Grimes that he's going to be knocking these down. Quickly, I think, too. Hushu, one more thing. Mitch's impact in the paint is just unreal. It doesn't show a lot in the box score. His presence in a game changer is a game changer. Yes, when he was going right tonight and he was fully activated version of Mitchell Robinson, his presence was a game changer. I would like that version of Mitch for the entirety of the time he's in the game, because there were a bunch of possessions where he was not full Mitch, and Cleveland got a ball that he should have had. And that is one thing where it's we talk about doing your job, knowing your role, being a star in your role. Mitch is not asked to do a blessed thing on offense. And his job on defense is very, very difficult. But he's not asked to do anything on offense. So you got to be pretty perfect when it comes to being tough on the boards, Yeah. And we know he can be because he was tonight for a lot of the game. Kevin Danishevsky, yo, incredible KFS event tonight. I haven't even touched base with anyone. Shout out to everybody who went to Penn 6 to watch the game. Glad you enjoyed yourself, Kev. And I'm glad to hear it was a good turnout. Missed you there in a vacuum. I missed you guys there too. In a vacuum, Hawks game 2 still tops this one, but being with KFS, my personal favorite moment as a fan. I think this is bigger than Hawks game 2. I think it's bigger because Hawks game 2 is must win because they were down. This sets up the rest of the series. It's on the road. Brian Acevedo. I kept thinking this freaking team in the second half, Macri. I love that we stole home court in game 1. The Knicks look like the deeper team, and we weren't even firing on all cylinders. Let's freaking go Knicks. Deeper team, yes. Not firing all cylinders, yes. And we stole that home court. Will Oliver, what's going on, Will? Grinded that one out. Great comment, Will. Great comment. That's exactly what they did. It's exactly what they did. Let's freaking go. I love the positivity. I love the energy. I love everybody who's chiming in and everybody who's participating, everybody who's watching. Don't forget, if you haven't already done so, like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Alexander Karanad. Big ups to Julius Brunson, Hart, Hartenstein. If I see RJ Barrett step back on the court, I'm going to lose my mind. He can't finish at the basket. He has no ball handle. He just is, I can't say this out loud. He just stinks. Overpaid. I'm like, oh, man. Andrew, you there?
Where would I have gone?
I don't know.
Yes, I'm here. What's up?
This is such a strange place for me to be because I feel like for 3+ years, I was like, the numbers need to be reckoned with here.
Mm-hmm.
And now
hold on. Fantasy had a really good tweet tonight because he apparently back in November when RJ was struggling was like, my you can't trade RJ Barrett for Donovan Mitchell take is on life support. We'll revisit this later on in the season. He quote tweeted that tweet with like, it's time to officially retire this take as one of the worst that I've ever had. I know that I know this is like the thing and it sticks out. This is our job where we have to then either push back and recontextualize or like, hey, they won despite a bad RJ game in your eyes, you know?
I think we've gone, and again, I say this from the point of view of the person who took, I mean, Andrew knows more than me because he reads the YouTube comments. I don't. Who took, I mean, the slings and arrows after that pod of like, maybe we should think about including RJ in a deal for Donovan Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone too far in the other direction for this game where I sympathize with people is if people are like, I've reached a certain point of frustration where we have a team that's really good and could win a playoff series or potentially, if the matchup is right, maybe even multiple playoff series. And we need more from the player that is in the RJ Barrett role. And I was very specific with my words there. We need more from the player that is in the RJ Barrett role. Even if that player is an older player without the upside and the whole song and dance we've done so many times before. Like, I get all of that. But tonight it feels like a bit much. That's all.
Again, his mistakes are loud. You know, it's not passing to Brunson or Hart on a 2-on-1 and dribbling it off his leg. It's like getting stripped when it's getting stripped down the stretch, leading to a wide open layup that when the Knicks are trying to close out the game. It's a very well executed ATO when JB drew the double and hit RJ for a corner 3 and he misses everything.
The misses are bad.
His mistakes are loud. I think this is just the thing. Now, something we were talking about off the air, in the faculty chat. I was trying to say off mic, but like you and I didn't talk about it
in the ether.
And yeah, something we were talking about not on the post game. XJ and I were like, we were talking to Mensa in the faculty chat, and we were like, there are other guys that have longer leashes. Like, yes, some guys are playing poorly, but like IQ gets the benefit of the doubt for how good and impactful he's been this year. Julius gets the benefit of the doubt for how good and impactful he's been this year. RJ has an 82 game sample that is mostly bad. And
well, that's
mostly bad. Not
he averages almost bad, 20 points a game.
Which in a year where everybody averaged 20 points a game. The counting stats are like it should be better for a guy.
Andrew, go look at my newsletter from Thursday. I went through the numbers.
Why I'm surprised you made that point.
I know, but it's again, there's always context with RJ. There's always.
Is it a little much tonight? Yes. Is there always somebody? Yes. I also like. This is after 82 games, so I'm understanding where it's coming from. You know,
as am I. I needed to talk that out.
You're welcome.
My therapist, my Knicks therapist, and also shout out to Mets Therapy. Go check it out for all your baseball podcasts.
Hey, Donovan Mitchell, it's not all bad tonight, huh? Our Metropolitans got a big W. Even though they're playing one of the worst baseball teams ever.
Who?
The Oakland Athletics are on pace to be like one of the worst baseball teams ever.
Oh wow!
They walked the Mets 17 times last night.
That sounds like a lot.
That's a lot. The major league record, John. The Mets had two hits in 4 innings and 13 runs out of it because they were just walks.
Oh wow!
I'm exaggerating on the number, but like it was
whatever.
It was weird to see like 13 runs on 4 hits on the screen. You know.
Alex, I Hart push shot. That's the super chat. I think he hit 2 of them tonight, right?
Yes, he hit 2.
Speaking of baseball, I got a very nice text from Mike Bassick. Shout out to Mike Bassick, and the one thing associated with the Dallas Mavericks that I really like. Mike Bassick's a good dude. Andrew Siguro, thank you for the contribution. Hashtag 2024 Brunson Hart. I'd vote for him. Happily. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for the very generous contribution. James Lee, thank you. 2 for 12 and minus 13 plus minus, but he's all right because good D and had some dimes. Is that what you expect from a $120 million player? 107 guaranteed. And criticizing him for that is hating. I mean, this is where the RJ conversation is right now. You know, it's a conversation that has gotten to a place that is, and shout out to Mensa, who's a big RJ supporter. Like, there was some back and forth between me and a few folks in the Substack chat for shout out to all my newsletter subscribers watching this. And like in the end of the first half, and we were kind of talking about, well, of New York's 4 wings. Like, I was like, well, Josh Hart has clearly been the best of the 4, and there were some people pushing back on that, like, no, I think RJ has been better for this reason or that reason, and Mensa was like, this is not a productive conversation, and he was dead right, because the RJ conversation at this point is not productive, because the people that are in one camp are that they're in one camp, and the people that are in the other camp are in the other camp, and it's just, it's not fruitful, shall we say. Thanks, James. Alex with another one. Nice t-shirt, John. Is mine still on your desk? Alex, I love you. It might be. But you got the playoff shirt, so it's like it's coming in waves. It's all planned out. Thank you for your patience. Huber then. Tibbs has won me over. The Hart Foundation is life. Brunson is him. NBA refs are terrible. Big props to number 30. RJ absolutely stinks. IQ Grimes bounce back. Yeah. And like, again, we're sitting here going and hemming and hawing about like RJ's game. Was it good? Was it bad? Was it somewhere in between? Like Grimes didn't hit shots. I thought he was okay. To say nothing of the even before the free throws, I thought Grimes was okay. He was 1 of 4. He took 4 shots from deep and made 1. 5 rebounds, by the way. Ja, so focused. What's going on, Ja? Jalen friggin' Brunson. RJ was actually okay. Okay, so here's in the other direction. There we go. Julius Redemption Tour begins. Hart and Hartenstein. So many clutch moments. Great win. Shots for everyone. I've drank, speaking of the Rusty Cigar Premium Red Blend, I've had about 2/3 of this bottle, and it is wonderful. Knicks fans deserve this. Well, you're taking my line, Ja. I agree. We do deserve this. We deserve this team as a whole. John, RJ was picked number 3 overall in year 4. Now he should be driving instead of chucking up threes. I was shocked. Tibbs stuck with him over Grimes in the 4th. Well, that seems to be the bone of contention, does it not? I can fairly assure you, I don't think it's going to continue on that trend. As for him driving instead of chucking up threes, like, again, Benji has said this or theorized or kind of danced around this general sentiment, which is that, can you be a wing player in the NBA in 2023 and not shoot threes? And I think the answer is probably no. Unless you're like a really unique special talent like Jalen Brunson or like like Jimmy Butler. And he even shoots threes. But I don't think he can. But for right now, maybe he needs to move away from the threes. We'll see. Sam Garcia, can't say enough good things about Josh Hart. Neither can I. We're in the same boat on that one because he's freaking awesome. Thanks, Sam. Orlando Arevalo, thank you for the generous contribution. And for chiming in. Andrew Scaro, you guys are awesome. This team is deep with IQ. RJ, this team is deep, and IQ and RJ were off tonight. Why can't they make a deep run? For me, it's mostly matchup based. Like, I think there is a sentiment as De'Aaron Fox just hits a massive three for the Kings to put them up 1 on a 3-pointer. I think there is a sentiment that perhaps, at the very least, 3 of the best 4 teams in the league are in the Eastern Conference. Milwaukee, Boston, and Philly. And I think Phoenix is the team in the West. So, like, again, let's say the Knicks beat the Cavs in this series, and then they go on to Milwaukee and they lose in a hard-fought 6-game series. Again, I don't know if this is going to happen. Let's say they do. Does that mean the Knicks aren't the 4th or 5th best team in the league? Maybe they are. I don't know that we could look at this team right now and be like, this team has what it takes to win it all. Because really, like, I think they're right outside that inner circle, though. So, I don't know. Am I disagreeing with you? I don't think so. Thanks, Andrew. Jess Fernandez, what's going on, Jess? Agree with Andrew. It feels like we left a lot on the table. If we put it all together, feeling good about our ceiling with this team, great win, still on edge. Oh, I'm very much on edge. I am all sorts of on edge. I feel better about things. Definitely feel better about things after tonight, but I'm still on edge. Thanks, Jess. Appreciate you. Sam Garcia's dad. Man, the Kings are on a... What are they on? Are they on a 7-0 run? Yeah, 7-0 run the last minute. Big time stuff from the Kings. Sorry. Sam Garcia's dad. I am an RJ agnostic, but bashing RJ while remaining silent on IQ isn't right. So that's fair. Emmanuel Quickley has been the Knicks' 3rd best player all year long. He's been awesome. I think there's an argument that he has been the Knicks' best 2-way player when you consider what he does on defense and offense. I think there's an argument that he's been one of the best 60 or at the very least 65 players in the NBA this season. He had a bad game. Worse game than RJ for sure. I think the frustration with RJ comes with the fact not that he was 2 of 12 in this game, but the fact that he was 2 of 12 and we have the background. And as I just said, I think it's too far. I think it's too much. Luke Stone, what's going on, Luke? As bad as the second half was from Julius, he had huge plays down the stretch with that great closeout to Mitchell to force a miss and a massive offensive rebound to help put the game away. I thought Julius Randle's defense was good tonight. I'm sure there are some moments that I'm missing where he didn't close out or something, because there's always those moments. Nothing from him stood out a bad way tonight for me on the defensive end. I thought he was really good. And yeah, well said, Luke. I think that's really important that you pointed that out, that he closed the game strong, even though he didn't have a good second half. Dom Cappuccini. I loved We Here so much, but we all understood why they needed to tinker with the offense. You're damn right, because that offense was ranked 23rd in the league. It took time, but here we are. The fruits of Leon's labors. Stealing game 1 signifies a big jump from 2021. It's night and day. It's night and day, Dom. It's night and day. This team, man, night and day. They're a lot better. I appreciate you as always, my man. Jay Vertical, what do you think will be the Cavs' adjustment for the next game? Mobley's lack of spacing was their downfall. The Knicks have grit. The culture is real. Let's go Knicks. That's a great question. What do I think the Cavs' adjustment will be? I think they'll start Okoro again. I don't know what their adjustment is. I don't they're going to play Mobley and Allen a lot of minutes. I think they're going to play a lot of minutes together. I wonder, I think if anything, the adjustment probably, which I think the adjustment probably comes on the defensive end somehow. Maybe they're even more daring as far as we're going to try to let New York's other guys beat us. Again, Jalen Brunson scored 21 points in the second half in a game where how many points did the Knicks score in the second half? Yeah, Jalen Brunson scored. The Knicks in the second half scored 51. So Jalen Brunson scored 21 of their 21 of their 51 points. I wonder if they're going to really try to put the clamps down on Brunson and basically just dare anyone else to beat them. That's an adjustment. Sam Garcia's mother, Madre, Tibbs out coach JB Bickerstaff. Give the coaches props, by the way. Should we fly Sam home for game 4? I mean, who am I to say what you guys should and shouldn't do as a family? If it were me, book those plane tickets. 007 Angelo, the mantra for the 2023 Knicks is by Macri himself. So you want to dance? Let's fucking dance. That was a fun one. I like that. That was a good night. That was a fun night. I think Funny tweeted that out earlier today. Glad y'all enjoyed that one. I have my moments. Mark, what's going on, Mark? Mark Sable, my favorite comic book creator out there. As someone still not over missing out on Mitchell, thank you for being honest, Mark. This game meant a lot. Proud of Brunson, Hart, and this whole team. Let's freaking go. I love it. Great comment, Mark. Great comment. And again, for as much as we all talk about, yeah, we're past the Mitchell trade, right? Like, I don't know. Will any of us ever really be fully past it? Whether we in our minds are past it or not? I don't know. Danny Gardner, biggest takeaway in my opinion was the Knicks' ability to always have 5 guys on the floor who can produce, even if a lot of them didn't. The one thing I'll give you there is just Mitch, and his production is obviously different, you know. And he certainly produces as far as like offensive rebounds, but yeah, I think that's fair. It's a good comment, Danny, as always. Alex, reminder, Cleveland tried to trade for Hart at the deadline. Yes, they did, and they unfortunately did not have enough to trade for him. Sucks for them. CT Pittman. It's days like this when I look back on the bad years as a Knicks fan and be thankful I never wavered my fandom. # New York forever. Can we just take a step back? Knicks won a huge playoff game tonight. Big plays. Big efforts. Big shots. The defense. Think about the defense that they played tonight. And then think back to some of the teams that you've watched over the last 20 years who came out on some nights and it looked like they had like I don't even know what. Like they they had just met each other earlier in the day as far as like defensive game plan and that like they were not paid professionals, that this was a job, but they were just like guys at the Y looking to get some points. I mean, the levels of embarrassment that we've had to endure as Knicks fans, just on the court, to say nothing of off the court. And then you sit and you think about a win like this and how they got it and all that went into it over the last several years. Man. Well said, CT. Well said. Sam Garcia's Madre with another one. Thank you, Mrs. Sam Garcia's dad. To the hoop, y'all. Hashtag Brunson. Hashtag 11 Brunson. KFS number 1. Hashtag Nixon 4. Now that's a bold move, Cotton. Nixon 4. Yes, the Knicks will sweep. Something tells me we're going to be here for a while in this series. Spider-Man NYK. I can't even believe there was talk about this team being better without Julius Randle. I completely agree. The dude was a stud. JB is him. Josh Hart is a godsend. Hashtag 15 wins to go. I love it. That's great. Hashtag 15 wins to go. I love the hashtags. Kevin Nandashevsky. Quick negative. RJ shouldn't close. But, man, I may have – well, he didn't close tonight. But, man, I may have to reverse my Cavs in 6 pick. It feels like we have the physical advantage even if they hit threes. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't feel great if you were someone who had Cavs in 6 right now. I mean, look, who knows? Crazy things have happened. You really think Cavs are winning 4 of the next 5? I don't think so. Kevin with another one. Tibbs outcoached JB Bickerstaff. Best Knicks coach since Jeff Van Gundy. I mean, that's not even a debate at this point. Yeah, I think Tibbs is putting himself in the running for, you know, along with Riley, Van Gundy, you know, Red Holzman, obviously, and I'm trying to think who I'm forgetting. Who was they had a coach early on who won a lot of games. But he's going to, by the time all said and done, he's going to go down as, at the very least, one of the probably 6 best coaches in Knicks history. It's pretty impressive. Jessica, what's going on, Jessica? The Knicks won a playoff game. I watched the highlights. I can't wait to watch the entire thing. Josh Hart has been my favorite Knick this season. We keep going back and forth between all these different guys. I don't know who to pick. So much better than the We Here team. 3 more games to go. Yes, 3 more games to go. You're muted.
You're watching the same thing I am, right?
Yes, and I was trying to like pay attention.
I can see you reading Jessica's comment, but I'm also watching the last 30 seconds of Warriors Kings.
Andrew Wiggins, after being away from the team for reasons,
6 weeks.
Had a the widest open of corner threes that would have given the Warriors a 2-point lead with, I guess, 7 or 8 seconds to go, and he bricked it.
Oh, well. Good game. Hopefully we had 7 of those, you know.
Thank you, Jessica. Danny Gardner with another one. Anyone complaining about a single player performance in this game needs their head screwed on straight. Half the guys played not great. It's okay. We won. Yeah, this is what I mean, are you surprised, Danny? I know you're not surprised. I asked that rhetorically. You're not surprised. Anthony Sixto. But again, I want to honor anybody who's frustrated at this point, because I get frustrated too. So Anthony Sixto. Cavs clearly game planned Emmanuel quickly and spent energy denying him and pressing him. Any thoughts on how the Knicks counter game 2 and free IQ up? I don't think IQ is the guy you get. Like, to me, IQ's errors tonight, like his passing, he threw 3 of the worst passes I've ever seen him throw in my life tonight. That's just bad IQ. And I thought, like, you got to think about how he gets his looks. He gets his looks by jitterbugging around on the offensive end and working his way into a good shot, and oftentimes making a not particularly easy short mid-ranger. I think he had opportunities to do that tonight, and he didn't make the shots. And he also didn't make threes. I think it just comes that for him. I mean, I think it comes down to playing slower, playing more within himself, and making shots. That's it. I don't think there's any game plan change we need to do to like get IQ freed up. That's not. I don't think that's where we're at with him. That's just me though. Sean with a W. A wise man once said, "No rebounds, no rings." 51-38. Yes, that of course. That man is Pat Riley, and Pat Riley said something else. Sean, that I know you're familiar with. Playoff series doesn't start until the road team wins a game. Well, guess what? The road team won.
So I'm going to do John a favor. Go watch the last 3 seconds. I'm going to read David Crockett's next comment.
I just watched it.
Oh, it hasn't happened for me yet. Okay, so he missed.
David Crockett, in a defensive struggle kind of series, Obi's ability, and it's an ability, to get you 2 to 4 easy baskets running the floor is a big freaking deal. Yes, I agree with that statement. His ability to get out in transition, and it happened tonight. I agree it's a big deal. And his 3-point shot is a big deal because it's reliable. When Obi shoots a 3 now, I feel like it's going in. How about them apples? That's pretty fun.
This is, again, the importance of those 4 games weren't like the backup quarterback came in and you're better off. It's, he's got his confidence back, which is the biggest takeaway.
Yes, and confidence is a big deal. And how about the Kings and Knicks winning a playoff game?
Yeah. Look at us. Look at us. This is the Paul Rudd on Hot Ones meme all over again. There you go.
Got that right.
Yeah.
Claudio Santos with another one. Randle's numbers today were similar to the Atlanta series. He hustled a lot in those games too, and he forced a lot of shots today. I agree the process is better, but I'm still waiting for a big Randle playoff game. Randle this year, and the Knicks have, this is how their offense has been so good. He takes tough shots. I don't know. There's just no way around it. He takes tough shots. He takes tough shots, and he makes a lot of those tough shots. He did not make as many tonight as he usually would, and I think the reason he gets my benefit of the doubt over RJ is, for one, the numbers 2 of 12, 7 of 20, and 2, Randle, what he brought in terms of the overall physicality and the rebounding, and obviously the massive offensive rebound, I think it puts him a little bit ahead. And also, like, again, that first half. Can't speak enough about that first half. I want to go. Hold on. Let me just go look real quick. His numbers at the half.
Julius. He was 6 of 12 and had 16 points.
And that doesn't really speak to how important those numbers were. Because, again, Jalen Brunson played 9 minutes.
Yeah, it was him and Josh Hart. And
they needed him.
Quickly was having the game he was having. RJ was having the game he was having. Like, it was Randle. Their offense was Julius do stuff, and he did stuff, and they kept him in the game, So,
and also, hold on.
By the way, Kings Knicks. That's the how to lose a guy in 10 days finals, right? Right?
Was it?
Yeah, it's Kings Knicks that they have tickets to, and for some reason, it's in the middle of the day.
Yeah, that's not realistic.
Yeah, that's the unrealistic part about that movie. Yes.
Vivek, doesn't a win feel so good? It's crazy that we out-rebounded the Cavs by 13, and neither Mitch nor Hartenstein led the team in boards. Big-time clutch board by Hart and Julius. Those 2 days of rest will be huge. I think it'll be big for both teams. I don't know if either team has the advantage on the 2 days of rest.
I think the Knicks do a little bit.
Okay.
Because of how deep their team goes.
That's fair.
The rest is like necessary for Cleveland after you play 40 plus minutes, but the Knicks can go 9 deep and they have a guy that actually does coming off a sprained ankle, so the rest matters more,
That's fair. John, my hall. JM, I've been watching you since the jump. I appreciate you, John. Thank you. You guys are the best, but I just KFS to my mom, longtime Knicks fan, and she asked, who is Robert Cross? So tell your mom Robert Cross is someone who has escaped from a local mental institute, and the authorities are, they're on the case. But we do not suspect him to be dangerous to himself or others.
Here you go, John.
At this time.
Here you go, John. You ever seen the beginning of the movie Halloween, where Michael Myers escapes, and it's because like a bus flips over and he gets away?
Yes.
The rest of the patients that were on the bus, one of them was Robert Cross. So
that's.
I kid, Robert. You're amazing.
No, we're not kidding, Robert.
I mean, we might not be, but you are amazing.
He is, in a Mike Myers sort of way. Mm-hmm. Danny Gardner, my RJ take. He was the second best Knick wing in this game until that stretch in the fourth. He should have been out there, and he should have been out, and then he should have been out. Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. I think that's really well said. I think he was the second best Knick wing in this game. You could argue even with the end there, he was the second best Knick wing in the game. I think it was a low bar. Alex, remember those close games we lost earlier in the season? Then we started winning close games. Now we are winning close games. How awesome is that? It is awesome. I think winning close games is a habit, and it is a habit that they have developed. And Josh Hart helped a lot with that habit that they have developed. Ben Carlton, I'll support RJ to the death, but he's just got to be so much better. Until then, I'm giving more minutes to IQ and Grimes. Good RJ can still add so much. Listen, RJ could still be the absolute difference maker in a positive way in this series. Here's the best news, right? I said before, well, Emmanuel quickly can't play any worse. I don't know. I think this is about as bad as we might see from RJ.
Oh, it could be worse.
Trying to be nice.
I know you're trying to be nice, but what's funny is I actually didn't realize the 2 for 12 than when we started this. It was only when someone brought up the box score. Like, oh, wow. He did only make 2 shots tonight. I thought he impacted in other ways,
He's had halves where he's like 0-7 that feel so much worse than this. Like, this did not... If you would have asked me after the night, like, what was his... I don't know. I probably would have said like 4-10, 4 of 11, something like that. 2-12 is bad, but whatever. Thank God it didn't cost us the game.
Yes.
Alex with another one. Close playoff games, darn it.
Yeah, a typo in the previous one. Thank you, Alex, for sending another super chat in order to correct your typo. I appreciate it.
Seriously. Oh, here's our resident Looney Tunes.
Speaking of Robert Cross, thank you.
You clowns with all the RJ slander after this win. Good defense, 6 assists, and actually, sorry, Robert, you wrote good D. If your golden boy Mitchell Robinson read this comment and he saw the words good D, he wouldn't think you were talking about his defense. Just throwing it out there. Shout out to Fred Katz for his Pulitzer Prize winning article from a few weeks ago. 6 assists and 4 steals. Do me a favor and just shut up, all of you.
I love Robert so much. Do me a favor and just shut up, all of you.
He is channeling Clint Eastwood in Gran Torino.
Yes. Get off my lawn. Although that was more Harrison Ford, get off my plane, but
that was Harrison Ford.
Get off my plane.
I don't care for that movie.
Really? You don't like Air Force One?
I'm not a big Ford guy.
In spurts like Ford. Like
when he plays Indiana Jones and Harrison
Ford,
like
in the right role. Yeah, I don't think Oz would push back and be like Mosquito Coast and the Fugitive and all that stuff.
Come on, he's not Hugh Jackman. Adam K. I'm behind, but here's $5 just for mentioning Super Shredder, the best Ninja Turtles movie. I freaking love this team. Let's go.
Is that the one with Vanilla Ice? Or is that the second one, The Secret of the Ooze?
You really,
dude? This is our age gap. It's okay. I've seen both multiple times. Okay. I forget which one is which, The one with Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go.
Yes, that's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze. They
Okay.
get into the concert, which is like not so much a concert as it is like Vanilla Ice singing at like a club.
Yeah, it's like a rave. Yeah, and Vanilla Ice is playing. I wouldn't know any of this, but go ahead.
So the Shredder gets into the concert, which obviously disrupts the concert, but not enough such that Vanilla Ice stops performing. He does impromptu, and I mean, this is the talent of Vanilla Ice, thinks of Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go off the top of his dome, and continues performing as the Turtles, as it were defeating the Foot Clan. But then Shredder gets his hands on the ooze, but it was, I think he got his hands on the ooze, and then a speaker blew him out of the concert venue into the docks, and then he had the ooze, or maybe he drank it, and then how a speaker blows a grown man out. It was a very loud speaker, I understand. Anyway, then he consumed the ooze and somehow took down a whole dock. I didn't really get that either. There's some plot holes.
He dies under the dock, right? Because the thing.
He does seemingly pass away, even though the Turtles survived because they swam from under the wreckage. Again, plot holes. But I hope that solves all that for you.
Thank you. I literally just didn't know if they were the same movie or not. This is way back in time for me, you know. Been a while.
That's actually Turtles in Time. That is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. You're getting the
okay. My Turtle cinematic universe. Yes.
Dom Cappuccini, Tibbs for the next 3 years. He deserves the title if they ever get that superstar. I agree with you. Give him it. They'll give him it if they trade for the star this summer.
He'll get a run. Yeah. And then it'll be up to the star.
He'll get a real run. Great win. Go for it again on Tuesday for the Demoralizer. I like that. I'm gonna quote you on that if they won that game. The Demoralizer.
Sounds like one of the pitches from Major League 2. That Ricky Vaughn.
They call that one the masturbator.
Now we're there.
That movie has that's an underrated movie. That's a really
hour
good movie.
3. Yes.
Yeah, hour 3, the masturbator. Okay. Duncan Barber, y'all have guided me via podcast through the last few seasons. Thank you for being a part of the journey. Thank you for all your hard work. Blue and orange sky setting in Cleveland. I love it.
Shout out to you, Duncan.
Ed Paolo, what's going on, Ed? All this over the top RJ slander. You would think the Knicks lost because of RJ. This is wild. Well, a lot of frustrations, a lot of built up frustrations, a lot of pent up frustrations, and I feel responsible for it because I feel like I've been at the forefront a lot.
You helped. You were frustrated after most of these 82 games. You know.
Yes, I was.
To quote another movie, since that's where we're at, it's not your fault.
What movie is that?
John, it's not your fault. John, it's not your fault.
I know the movie. It's on the tip of my tongue.
John, it's not your fault. Look at me. John, look at me. Look at me. It's not your fault. Goodwill Hunting. Goodwill Hunting. The Robin Williams, Matt Damon scene.
God, yes. I just watched that movie with my older daughter not long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then I turned it off for the sex scene.
Yes. Smart.
Busy with another one. I feel like I need to send another for Randle. I was really killing him. Good job, Randle. Busy. It's okay, man.
You didn't have to do this, but good on you. Because I know you and I have gotten into it in the Discord. Busy. That's why I tried to play both sides of it. Of like, I'm glad we got to see Randle's importance, but also see how good Obi played after playing. And I'm glad good on you for doing the same thing.
But hold on. I think it's fair to say Randle needs to be better than
in the second half. Yeah, but his impact was really felt. Is the point? You know?
Yeah.
The point being, they were not going to win the series without Randle. We saw why tonight. And
and to be very clear, like if over the rest of the series Julius Randle takes more shots than points he scores, I'm not sure the Knicks are going to win. I think in that particular perspective, I think he needs to be a little bit better. Frank Miranda with another one. Frank, you're too generous and kind. What's up, Mag? It's your boy Frank from Patreon. There should not be two sides to the RJ argument. If RJ was on trial for being trash, he would be convicted on all counts by a jury of his peers. The thought that went into that sentence, Frank.
Frank, I swear to God.
I don't even know. Frank, I gotta say that
the jury finds you guilty of being trash. That's Frank's world right there.
Who's juror number 8? Is it Mensa?
No, because it'd be a hung jury. There's no way that Mensa's convicting.
No, I'm saying that's why. Who's juror number 8? Who's preventing RJ from getting convicted?
Oh, okay. So I was going with Frank's reality where he's guilty on all charges. No. So
no, gotcha. Someone's got to stand up to the bullies.
So he's the 8th of the 12 angry men.
There you go. Prosecution rests. John Myhall, love Robert. #53 wins. Now Robert has groupies. This is unsettling.
I love it. There you go.
I do not love it. Busy too much, man. Seriously, you and Robert. We got to remember how many times we complain about RJ not doing the little things. Yes, we say we can live with the poor shooting if we would just pull a Josh Hart and come up with small plays, 4 steals. Let's take it easy on him. I think this is really well said. I think it's no, I'm not. There's no context needed. There's no context needed. That's really fair. It's really fair. I 2 for 12 is a little rough. It's a little rough.
It's what you said. The Tom Hanks League of Their Own. Like, yeah, there are other things to point you that you were good at, but also you need to be.
This is important.
Better at making shots, RJ Barrett. See, we're gonna work on that next season.
But Busy, that's really well said. And to anybody defending RJ, I think that sentiment is an appropriate one. So, yes. Christopher Halecki, this team reminds me so much of the 90s Knicks. Incredible grit and determination and nothing easy for the opposition. Yeah. I mean, different sport. This team's a little friskier in that team. That team was, I mean, it was 3 yards in a cloud of dust. That's all it was. That's what that team was. They didn't have, but that was the NBA. You could be 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Can't be that anymore.
First to 85 won a lot in the 90s. That's why Jordan's offensive game was so impressive, because he was averaging like 38, 39 a game in an era where you scored like 80, 85 a game. At least the late 80s he was. Now I get it. There was more.
He averaged 37 a game one season.
But it was like 34, 30. He won 4 straight scoring titles. I know that.
Well, he won 7 straight scoring titles.
Excuse me.
See, this history you don't know? All the MVPs you know?
No, I don't know. I know Michael Jordan won in 88, and then the actual scoring titles, I don't know.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Michael Jordan, other than the season he averaged 37 a game, I don't think he ever averaged above 32 a game at any point in his career. Why don't you get the next super chat? I'm going to look this up.
You got it. It's from Kevin Daniszewski. Only reason I hate Atlanta game 2 is only reason I still have Atlanta game 2, I guess, ahead in his rankings is because it was at MSG. Yes. Created a pretty great moment too, Kev. And pretty hype moment after the game.
Hold on. Bad job by me. He averaged 37. The next year he averaged 35. And then 2 years after that he averaged 33.6. So I'll take the L there.
I knew there was 4 years in a row because that built up what today would be the Skip Bayless narrative, because he was zagged on him that you can't win with a score like that. And as his scoring got worse, the win total got better, because he was distributing more.
Yeah, I mean, the first championship season, he averaged 31.5, followed by 30.1, followed by 32.6.
89, he had 30. He averaged 33, 8, and 8. Here's a take. Yeah. Michael Jordan was good.
The numbers are very silly. In an inefficient era, he was incredibly efficient. 007 Angelo. So, if Hart can't go, is there any talk about Hart not being able to go?
I mean, he got hurt in that down the stretch in the fourth quarter. I have not heard anything. I guess check out the Weiss and Rosenblum injury report in the near future if the Knicks say something about that.
The question is, can RJ pick up the slack? Send Josh Hart out there with one leg, please.
I'm more confident than one-legged Josh Hart. I will just echo what other people have said. RJ has to pick up the slack. Quentin Grimes has to pick up the slack. Emmanuel quickly has to pick up the slack. There are other people that had poor games that need to pick up the slack.
They won a game where they got 3 field goals from RJ Barrett, Emmanuel quickly, and Quentin Grimes combined.
Yep.
It's wild. Robert Cross with another one. Agree with Busy. Randle was the key to the first half, going to go down as a top 10 Knick of all time. Hashtag 53 wins. Oh, my Lord, what would need to happen for him to go down as a top 10 Knick of all time?
Win a title.
Yeah,
win a title, you probably get make the finals. Make the finals. Is it Houston your number 10?
Yeah, 9 or 10. A finals run might get him there. Let's say next year. Give him another All-Star appearance. That'll do it. For Alex, hashtag Crosshive. This is disturbing.
Yes. The Crosshive. I'm in.
I'm so out. Where can I be more out?
Fingers Robert Crossed. Yes. And then last one, of course.
This is it?
Robert
Just
Cross.
past the 3-hour mark, of course. Robert Cross. Starts with Robert, it ends with Robert. He's the alpha and the omega. First time, long time, John. Did you like that one?
The alpha and the omega. Okay.
I was proud of that in the moment, and then your reaction was like, yes, I nailed it.
Oh, man.
The Knicks are winning game 2 when you can count on it. We are going back to the Mecca up 2-0 and is going to be loud. Hashtag 53 wins. You know what I'm really happy about? Something somehow I have not mentioned yet in 3 hours. Win or lose game 2. They could lose by game 2 by 20. It could be a game where nothing goes their way and everything goes Cleveland's way. I'm pretty sure we're like, because worst case scenario, you go back to the Garden 1-1. That building on Friday night.
Be a madhouse.
It's going to be special.
Yeah.
Very special. All right. On that note,
we have one more now. Just came in. Shout out Christopher. Jumped in at the end.
Christopher Halecki. RJ was overthinking it all year. He has shown his ability over his short career. He just needs to play. I completely co-sign that it's all above the neck. It's all above the neck for RJ. With the little, it's above the neck, but he also I think part of the above the neck problem is he doesn't embrace mentally the fact that he is not as good at certain things as he maybe thinks he is, and that's why he takes some of the shots that he takes. So it's an above the neck thing, but it's also a below the neck thing. I digress. Yeah, no, he just needs to play and not think about it. He's better when he doesn't think. Completely agree. Okay. On that note, thank you, everybody who listened to this, watched this, was here for this in any way, shape, or form. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. Be back with us. What is this? This is where it's almost Sunday. So me and Jeremy are recording tomorrow on Sunday. That'll drop, and then we're going to put some finishing touches on this game. And then
Benji on Tuesday.
Yes.
Monday into Tuesday. So recording with Benji Monday night and then into Tuesday.
Can't wait for that. I cannot wait to get his thoughts about this game. And until then, everybody...
Hold on, because of course he did. Robert Cross, one more.
Robert Cross, one more. Legend of GMAC. Remind people of Chris Persianen and Sean with a W. Study hall tomorrow. It's good. Show up, fools. Hashtag 53 wins.
I would, Robert, except they have no idea what time they're doing study hall tomorrow. I know they plan to do KFS study hall tomorrow, but here's what you do. Follow Knicks Film School on Twitter at Knick Film School, SKOOL, because we're cool like that. And
cool
you will get the alerts when the study hall plans to do their show on Sunday. So if you'd like to join them live and join them on stage and give your takes, that's what study hall is for. They do a great job. They've been kind of spot on and getting better all throughout the year. So yeah, Chris and Sean on KFS Study Hall, available on Twitter Spaces.
Thank you, everybody, once again. Thank you, Andrew. You're the man. Needed you tonight. And we're going to have a special guest all the way through the postseason one for the run for the post games.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Everybody enjoy your night. Happy Sunday. Peace
Go
out.
New York, go New York, go. Go
Woo!
New York, go New York, go.
Woo!
Oh, I just made the connection. Go Ninja, go Ninja, go to go New York, go. Oh, wow. I'm not so quick on the uptake, am I?